Little by little, finally, the strength of Huideng seems to have reached the peak, and can no longer rise. Lord Mu felt the strength of Huideng, and he couldn't help but feel a little pleased. It seems that it's time for the secret arts. I'm afraid that he will return to his original strength next time. If you insist on it for a while, you will soon win. Several city masters seemed to see the hope in general, quickly nodded. But the next moment, their hopes were dashed. Above the sky was black and clear, but in a short period of time, it turned into thunderous bursts, and the thunder and lightning in the sky seemed to come down at any time. Thunderbolt. It's thunder robbery. Someone is going to break through. Someone exclaimed, and then everyone was looking around, looking for the figure to break through. Cloud Dance mouth a hook, heart, finally to break through. Then the whole jade plate flew towards the fire. Huideng's eyes are cold, and the jade plate falls into Huideng's arms. And then, he didn't sit down to accept the thunder robbery. On the contrary, he looked at the city master Mu and others and said with a sneer, Emperor Wu, after all, I arrived first. But I'd like to share this with you. Mu's city lord a few people Aleng, still don't understand is what meaning, see the air, bang, of a thunder fall, direct to Fire Teng hit up. Fire Teng body movement, speed to the extreme, the thunder also towards him in the past. Huideng rushes to the lord of Mu's city quickly. Before the thunder falls, he grabs the lord of Mu's city's arm. At this time, the thunder and lightning boom directly split on Huideng's body, and the lord of Mu's city around him was covered up in the thunder. Huideng, who has reached the peak of Wuzong, will not be afraid of thunder, but the Lord Mu is just an ordinary Wuzong strongman. How can I bear it? At present, after a thunderbolt, the Lord of Mu only felt as if he could die at any time. Fire Teng mouth a hook, and then follow suit, caught several city masters in a row. Where the thunder passed, all of them dodged away, for fear that they would be killed by the thunder. This Fire Teng, the courage is really big, and the original you have a fight. Long Qingxie, tut, said. Cloud Dance satisfaction watching Fire Teng's action, until thunder robbed more than half, finally completely put down the heart. The end is doomed. You don't have to worry about it anymore. After hearing this, Huolinger finally breathed a sigh of relief. The whole person seemed to collapse and fell on Yunwu. Come on, let's get her back first. Cloud Dance looking at to fall in the bosom already nervous excessive faint of fire spirit son, to the side of the dragon poor evil to say. Long Qingxie nodded, and then they went to Huo Shizhen together. This side has just experienced a big war, and other people's rallying actions have also been launched separately. The closest to the boundary of Mudu is the Phoenix clan, so the first one to arrive is Xiaoqiu. The golden phoenix is flying in the air. Before reaching the gate of the Phoenix family, the people of the Phoenix family have been informed that the gate of the whole Phoenix family has been opened one after another, waiting for the arrival of Little Stink. All the way unimpeded came to the main hall of the Phoenix. Feng Huangnu already excited tears, see the figure of Small Stink, fly down, will Small Stink into his arms. Child, you can make me want to die, so long, are you okay? Mother, I miss you so much. Small Stink directly into his mother's arms, rub, mother really miss you, we haven't seen each other for a long time. Feng Huang was so excited that she stroked her head and said, how can she come back suddenly? Isn't he following the priest? Little Smelly then raised his head, looked at his mother's big watery eyes, and begged, Mother, I have something to do this time. Feng Huang Vleng lowered her head, gently looked at the Small Stink, reached out and touched her head. My child is really grown up. Mother, I'm here to ask you this time. Little Stinky stood upright and looked around at the elders. He said solemnly, Mother, I want you to agree with this matter. I'm afraid this matter is related to the future of our family and the suffering we have suffered. Feng Huang bowed her head and thought for a while. Her expression became serious and she went back to her position. You say it. Mother, I'd like to ask you to agree to support us in attacking the Beast Gate. As soon as they heard the Beast Gate, all the people on the scene opened their eyes and looked at the serious Little Stink in front of them. After a long time, they realized that she was not joking, and everyone began to talk about it. Boy, you mean you're going to attack the beast gate? Feng Huang's voice obviously with excitement, some can't believe asked. Small Stinky looking at in front of Feng Huang's excited expression, heart already know, yes, we decided to formally declare war with the beast door. With that, Xiao Smelly said all the things that happened in this period of time. When he finished, Feng Huang stood up and walked up and down in front of her seat, her face flushed with excitement. Great, great. I Phoenix family can get revenge at last. Children. Listen, as long as it's the priest's order, we Phoenix will obey it. Little Stinky stood under the stairs, looking at Feng Huang's excited appearance. He also clenched his fists, smiling eyes curved. At this time, Situ Lan, who had already arrived at Wengo Island, was full of thoughts. After leaving that day, Situ Lan didn't want to return here. However, he still chose to come back here. Maybe, there will be a chance for him to get the help of Wengo Island. Maybe, Zhong Huanxiang will make him pay something for blackmail. With this in mind, Situ Lan coughed twice and was in a bit of a dilemma. He stood at the entrance of Wenj Island for a long time and hesitated to go in. However, such a suspicious person attracted the attention of the guards. 2 or 3 guards came towards Situ Lan. Who are you? Why linger here? Situ Lan Leng did not respond to come over, was 2 guards a hold down, a wry smile, give up resistance, let 2 people will arm back in the back. Say, who are you? A guard pointed a long gun at Situ Lan and angrily scolded him. I don't know. Situ Lan seemed to be in a bit of a dilemma. He hesitated for a long time and then said, I'm here to see you from the island master. From the islander? From the island master, you said that you could see it as soon as you saw it? The guard seemed very angry and held his arm tighter. He took a cold breath, but said, it's a good thing that you are so dedicated, but if you treat a person like this, you may suffer losses, don't you think? But the guard just sneered, and didn't listen to what Situ Lan said. 2 people put him in a fight and walked forward. Come with me to see Captain Xiao first. Captain Xiao. Situ Lan, which Captain Xiao? You don't have to worry so much. The guard angrily rebuked and continued to walk forward with a cold face. Situ Lan said with a bitter smile, okay, I'll follow you. No talking. Another guard seems to be very angry with Situ Lan's casual attitude. Gao Xing angrily scolds him. In front of him, a figure suddenly appeared, standing in front of several people, just blocking the sunlight in front of Situ Lan. Why is it so loud? The quiet voice, with the familiar voice line, made Situ Lan feel relaxed, lowered his head and said with a smile, Captain Xiao, long time no see. In front of him, Xiao Ran was still a cold and light look, but in his eyes, there was a touch of surprise. Looking at Situ Lan in front of him, he said, who are you? When did I see you? Situ Lan laughs and looks up at Xiao Ran. Now he has become an adult who can take charge of his own affairs. In front of Xiao Ran, obviously a lot higher. Sure enough, he is a teenager. He hasn't seen him for some time. He has changed so much. His eyes are like stars, his lips are red and his teeth are white. But his face is more resolute, less tender, and his eyes are more firm. At the moment when he saw Situ Lan, Xiao Ran's eyes were obviously bright. He opened his eyes wide. He was stunned. The corners of his mouth turned up and showed a happy smile. It was a big smile that spread from the corners of his mouth to his eyes and then to his whole body. The guards around them were shocked. They had never seen such a cold captain with such a bright smile. They were stupefied there and still pressed Situ Lan. I don't know, my benefactor is coming. I'm sorry to neglect him. Xiao Ran suddenly bowed and respectfully saluted Situ Lan. Then, he said coldly to the people around him, don't let go. Several guards were so scared that they turned pale. They quickly let go of Situ Lan's hand and stepped back 2 steps. They lowered their heads and didn't say a word. Their faces turned red. Situ Lan looks at Xiao Ran in front of him. The boy's inexplicable hostility to him has disappeared. The intimacy sent out from him increases his favor for Xiao Ran. It's pretty good now. He has become the team leader. The boy, who was almost as tall as Situ Lan, coughed twice with embarrassment. His handsome appearance made the girls around Wenj Island turn back frequently. Xiao Ran's face turned red gradually. No matter why you come here today, you have to see our island leader. Then we have a good drink, don't you think? Situ Lan nodded and said with a smile, who said no, I have to see Tsong Huanxiang this time. I really have something important to ask her. Xiao Ran picks eyebrow, show a smile of unidentified meaning way, that please. They chatted all the way to the residence of the islander. After a while, he came to the door, but Situ Lan hesitated. Why don't you go in? I'm sure Sister Huanxiang will be very happy to see you. Xiao Ran turned his head and looked at Situ Lan, but he saw that Situ Lan shook his head, thought about it and said, I think it's better to talk in the restaurant. No, it's all here. How can you leave? Before the words were heard, a female voice came out of the mansion. All of a sudden, let Situ Lan heart a tight, an unspeakable complex feeling suddenly rushed to heart, eyebrows also tight wrinkle up, from magic incense, long time no see. And Song Huanxiang, who was standing in the mansion, was still charming, like a flower, twisting his waist and fat buttocks, coming towards this side. Seeing Situ Lan's instant, he was suddenly stunned. He opened his mouth, his eyes were red, but he still couldn't speak. He was stunned by all kinds of manners, and then bowed his head and sighed. Come in. From the magic incense smile, turned back, did not say a word. Xiao Ran looked at Situ Lan beside him and opened the door with a low smile. Looking at the figure from the magic incense, Situ Lan felt as if he had been separated from the world. He laughed at how he could be so timid in his heart, so he stepped forward and walked towards the room. Entering the room, the furnishings of the room are still the same, no change at all, from the magic incense sitting on the chair, has poured the wine into the cup. Somebody, tell the kitchen to make a good dish. I'll treat this. Looking at Situ Lan's eyes from the magic incense, with a little bit of tears, and with a smile, great benefactor. The maid answered, told her to go down, and turned to go down. Finally, in the room, there were only 3 people sitting around the table. How do you remember coming back? He picked up the glass from the magic incense and raised it to Situ Lan with a smile. Do you miss me? Situ Lan had no choice but to smile bitterly. He felt that when he came to Huanxiang, his face was stiff with laughter. Pour down a glass of wine and put it on the table. After a while, the maids came to the table in a row. Then, plates of delicious food had been put on the table. The huge table was full. That's very kind of you. Situ Lan looked at a large table of dishes, and after a long time, he saw Xiao Ran sitting opposite him. Although indifferent looking at the dishes on the table, but has been unable to suppress the secretion of saliva, keep swallowing saliva, suddenly, laughing out. From the magic incense also helplessly looking at Xiao Ran, said, eat, eat, eat quickly, but also go out on patrol. Xiao Ran's eyes brightened. Hearing this, he immediately picked up his chopsticks and looked at Situ Lan and Song Huanxiang. Then he lowered his head and began to eat. He looked up at Situ Lan, with soft light in his eyes. Situ Lan, what's the matter with you when you come back this time? As soon as he heard that he got to the point so quickly, Situ Lan suddenly put down his chopsticks and said, I'm here to ask you to do me a favor. Oh. He picked his eyebrows from Huanxiang, looked at Situ Lan, then lowered his head, shook his glass and listened to the crisp sound of the wine in the glass. What's the matter? Since you've helped me, I'm sure I'll help you. Situ Lan was very happy, just wanted to speak, but saw from the magic incense waved his hand, interrupted his words, lazy way, of course, according to one's ability. But no matter what, it's easy to let go from the magic incense side. Situ Lan was very happy and said, I want you to gather your strength to help us drive out the beast gate. 10,000 Beast Door, hear this name, Xiao ran and from the magic incense instant changed facial expression, looking at the C2 Lan in front of, a face of can't believe. You mean, you want us to help you to attack 10,000 beast door? He nodded heavily. Situ Lan sighed heavily and drank a mouthful of wine. How do you think this matter can help me? After hearing this, Song Huanxiang suddenly laughed, looked around his house, and then looked at Situ Lan. Do you think my strength can help you? Nature can. Situ Lan said, and Xiao Ran touched a glass of wine. Drink down, clip 2 dishes. He turned his head from Huan Xiang and looked at Xiao Ran. The child was eating delicious food. He didn't put his mind on their words at all. He lowered his head from the magic fragrance, pondered for a moment, and said, if so, your kindness to me is not enough to make me take such a risk. Lift an eye, the elegant feelings 10,000 kinds of glanced at C2 Lan. One eye, Wei, is inferior to, how do you exchange my help with the body? Before he finished speaking, Situ Lan suddenly pressed the glass on the table and made a bang. He narrowed his eyes, and his eyes were very indifferent. If the island master doesn't help, I won't dissuade him, but I don't think it's so easy for the island master to say that. Sipping his mouth, the last few words still did not say, stood up and walked toward the door. I'm not with you. Xiao Ran lowered his head, eating, but suddenly stopped chopsticks, looked up, looked from the magic incense. That is to say, magic incense elder sister does not agree with this thing. From Huan Xiang lowered his head, the expression on his face was very complicated, his eyes were red, his tears were full, and he choked. Good Situ Lan, am I so unbearable? As for letting him turn around and leave without leaving a little affection. He gritted his teeth and pinched the wine cup in front of him. He suddenly poured down a glass of wine and coughed twice. Then he poured another glass of wine and poured it down. Xiao Ran, you can go on duty if you have nothing to do. Xiao Ran blinked, worried to see from the magic incense in front of, silent for a long time. This just put down the chopsticks, turned to leave. In the room, only one person was left. From the magic fragrant low head, looking at the cup of wine reflects enchanting beautiful oneself, a burst of loss. After thinking for a long time, he finally raised his head, drank the wine in the glass, sighed and fell on the table. Standing outside the door, Xiao Ran quietly listened to the sigh from the magic fragrance in the room, sipped his mouth, frowned and left the mansion. Walking on the street, Situ Lan is frowning and cold, and is walking forward. Xiao Ran followed Situ Lan, silent and silent. They walked for a long time. Finally, Situ Lan stopped in front of him. He didn't turn his head, but said coldly, how come you came to persuade me to go back from the magic incense? Xiao Ran stopped abruptly behind him, opened his eyes, looked at Situ Lan for a long time, and stammered, Yuan, originally, you found me. You've been with me. Everyone has to find you. Situ Lan turned helplessly, looked at Xiao Ran, shrugged his shoulders and said, tell me, what's the matter? I hear you say, you want to attack the beast gate. Xiao Ran walked past Situ Lan and went on, how confident you are to attack the beast gate. He bowed his head and laughed. Situ Lan listened for a long time, this kid, unexpectedly know 10,000 beast gate of affair. Hurried forward, standing beside Xiao Ran, have you ever touched the beast gate? Xiao Ran, with his head down, could not see his expression, but Situ Lan felt the deep intention of killing from the boy's body. Not only have I contacted him, but also my biggest enemy. Situ Lan opens his mouth and thinks about it. Otherwise, why should a teenager follow his parents instead of his own? About his parents, Situ Lan has never heard of. Do you mean that your family was given by the people of the beast gate? That's right. Xiao Ran lowered his head, and his whole body began to tremble. His hand holding the sword was already blue. My tribe was destroyed by the people of the beast gate. Finally understand come over, no wonder this youth from magic fragrance to always take in the side, originally unexpectedly is like this. He patted Xiao Ran on the shoulder, sighed, turned around, looked at the crowded market in front of him, and said, I think we have enough ability this time, and we can find enough power to destroy the beast gate, but I also want the help of the island owner, but now it seems. The words didn't finish, just a deep sigh. The magic fragrance elder sister is actually very contradictory. Xiao Ran raised his head and saw a restaurant in front of him. He turned to Situlan and said, "Why don't we go up and have a drink and talk slowly?" Situlan also agreed, and they walked towards the restaurant with their legs raised. As soon as he entered the room, Situlan couldn't help laughing. "This is my last night and the place where I drank from magic incense." Xiao Ran also laughed and called Xiao Er to order 2 pots of good wine and 2 dishes. 2 people sitting in the restaurant, a cup of a drink up. "We all have the same enemy." Xiao Ran sighed, suddenly pointed to the restaurant, a bustling, prosperous street. "You don't think we are so harmonious now? In fact, before, we almost died. At that time, it was because our tribe and the alliance of Wingo Island fought against the attack of the Beast Gate, but because our tribe was framed by other tribes, so that our tribe was quietly exterminated. I was still young, hiding under the corpse pile, and finally saved by the team of Wingo Island. Here we are, so, the island of Wingo also suffered a lot at that time." Situlan poured a cup of wine for Xiao Ran, and he also poured a cup. He touched Xiao Ran's cup and poured it down. "I'll take you in from the magic fragrance." "Her father took me in. I grew up with her, but she is much older than me." Xiao Ran bowed his head and laughed. "Finally, her father died in the hands of the Beast Gate, and she hated the Beast Gate." Hear Xiao Ran say so, Situlan suddenly silence. Yes, if this can still leave room for 10,000 beast door, that means this person is also enough heartless. But for the sake of the whole island, she had to choose carefully. Xiao Ran said, "You know, the Beast Gate for us, is how terrible existence. As the sun sets, the whole town is tinged with the afterglow. Everyone has a gentle smile on his face, but the older people all know how painful the city has experienced in the past. I'll stay here for 3 days. If you think about it, please come to me. After 3 days, no matter what the result is, I'll leave. I can't delay too long." Xiao Ran nodded and laughed. He turned to look out of the window, but suddenly he was stunned. There was a lot of noise in front of him, and a large group of people gathered in the street. Suddenly, Xiao Ran's face changed, picked up the sword on the table, stood up and rushed downstairs. Situlan also stood up and followed Xiao Ran downstairs. In front of him, Xiao Ran pushes away the crowd and bends down to help the people on the ground up. Situlan rushes into the crowd and looks at the people sitting on the ground. Just before meeting, he sat down on the ground from the magic fragrance and looked up at Situlan with dim tears. It seemed that for a long time, he finally found that Situlan was standing in front of him, and immediately grinned. "Situlan, you didn't go, I thought you were gone." Situlan bitterly looks at Song Huanxiang, and the one in front of him is full of wine. He is shaken by Xiao Ran and walks towards Situlan. Before he got to Situlan's side, he suddenly rushed towards Situlan from the magic fragrance. Suddenly, Wen Xiang was in his arms. For a time, Situlan felt the fragrant and soft body in his arms. For a time, it was a little bitter. "Situlan, what do you think I should do?" From the magic incense choked, "Words are not clear, you turn around and go, what should I do?" Xiao Ran looked at the magic fragrance holding Situlan tightly, pursed his mouth, and could not see what emotion was in his eyes. "From the island master, don't do that." Situlan sighed, but heard all kinds of pointing around. "You see how this man is like this? That's right, that's right. You see, I would have left if I had made other girls cry like this." "Oh, isn't it from the island master?" "Well, don't say it's true." For a moment, the whole crowd suddenly began to boil. Situlan's face was black, so he had to pick up the magic fragrance and walk towards the residence of the island leader. "How can you drink so much wine from magic fragrance?" Situlan turns to look at Xiao Ran. "Was she drinking when you left?" Xiao Ran turned his mouth, lowered his head and sighed. "You know, I can't persuade her. If she has to drink, my words don't work at all. You have to come." Situlan smiles bitterly and looks down at the sleeping appearance of Huan Xiang holding his neck with tears. He looks up and speeds up to walk towards the house in front of him. Finally, he put Song Huanxiang on the bed, but Song Huanxiang grabbed Situ Lan's arm and murmured, "Don't go, I want to promise you, but I can't help myself, Words have not finished, but has begun to choke up. Brother Situ. Xiao Ran, standing on one side, suddenly said, "In fact, we really love you very much. But I can't." Situ Lan lowered her head, gently broke off the hand holding her sleeve, and put her hand into the quilt. "Still that sentence, I will leave in 3 days, in which I need a result, so I must tell her when I wake up from the island master." Then he got up to leave. "All right." Xiao Ran frowned and looked at Situ Lan's back. He seemed to be angry. Out of the island master's mansion, Situ Lan finally breathed and patted himself on the chest. Thinking about the appearance of the pear blossom with rain just now, it seemed that he had become a heartbreaker. All the way, I wandered slowly on the road. I was about to find a place to live, but suddenly I heard Sharon's voice behind me, "Brother Situ." Brother Stuart Situ Lan suddenly turned back and looked behind him, but saw Xiao Ran running over excitedly. Before he could breathe, he patted Situ Lan on the shoulder and said, "I'll tell you. Sister Magic Fragrance. Sister Huanxiang has agreed to support us." "Really?" Situ Lan looked at Xiao Ran in surprise. In a twinkling of an eye, he frowned again, "But are you sure that she is sober now?" "Well, this." Xiao Ran scratched his head and laughed, "I don't know, but she said, let me immediately help her set up a document. She agreed to support the attack on the Beast Gate." Situ Lan felt his chin and thought for a while. Finally, he shook his head and patted Xiao Ran on the shoulder. He said, "No matter what, let's wait until she wakes up in the morning." Xiao Ran nodded solemnly. "I live here." Situ Lan then pointed to the inn beside him and said, "If there is something going on tomorrow, send someone here to find me." After 2 words, they separated. The next morning, Xiao Ran went to Situ Lan's house and knocked on Situ Lan's door. "Brother Situ, Sister Huanxiang, please go to the mansion and sit down." Situ Lan's heart moves, hastily tidies up, and follows Xiao Ran to the residence of the island leader. As soon as I entered the room, I saw that Song Huanxiang was sitting there, looking at Situ Lan with a smile on his face. But in the line of sight, obviously with estrangement, he stood up from the magic incense, let the seat out, let Situ Lan sit down. Situ Lan was not polite either. He sat down and watched the maid around him drive out from Huanxiang and close the door. Then he turned to see Situ Lan. There were only Xiao Ran, Song Huanxiang and Situ Lan left in the whole room. From the magic incense looked down at the tea, did not speak, 3 people did not speak. After a while of silence, from the magic incense finally raised his head, looked at Situ Lan, with a faint smile, and looked at his face quietly. Seeing that Chuang Xiang didn't speak, Situ Lan didn't know what to say. He just drank the tea in front of him quietly and lowered his head. "What does the island master mean by calling me this time?" From the magic incense crooked head, more smiling, looking at Situ Lan, "That look very beautiful, Situ Lan. Why do you appear in front of me?" "It's a fantastic thing," a sudden sentence, let Situ Lan inexplicably looking at from magic incense, don't understand from magic incense want to say what, but see from magic incense shook his head and sighed, "This is really strange, I would love you so." For a moment, Xiao Ran's face changed. He looked at Situ Lan with a cold face, looked at Song Huanxiang again, sighed deeply, and said, "If you have something important to talk about, if you don't, I'll go first." Situ Lan looked at Xiao Ran's indifference. He was amused, but he didn't say anything. He just said, "I heard Xiao Ran say that the island owner agreed to attack the Beast Gate with us." Said 10,000 Beast Door, smile from the magic fragrance eyes immediately disappeared, she frowned, looking at Situ Lan, silent for a long time. Kai Shinzhong said, "You said to attack the Beast Gate, how can I believe you? I used so much manpower and material resources, can I get a return?" She looked up, her eyes full of seriousness, "It's not just about you and me, it's about the whole island." As soon as Situ Lan heard this, his expression in his eyes became serious, and he said, "If I say that our team is very strong, you can completely believe me. Will you believe me?" After listening to Situ Lan's words, although he was very worried from Huan Xiang's heart, he didn't know why. After hearing Situ Lan's words, he relaxed a lot in his heart. However, this matter can't be decided by me alone. You know, I have many elders here. Hearing this, Situ Lan also expressed his understanding and immediately told Song Huanxiang to call the Kaiyuan meeting immediately. "I'll go back and get ready, and then we'll go." He stood up and walked out of the house. Just at this time, from the magic incense suddenly stood up, took Situ Lan's arm, smiled, sighed, "You are such a stupid man is really rare, rest assured, I have made it clear with the elders, no problem, after all, we are also people who have been injured by the beast gate." Finally, Situ Lan's eyes were pleasantly surprised. Looking at the magic fragrance in front of him, he didn't say anything for a long time. This way. When the Red Fire Dragon returned to the Dragon Clan, the whole Dragon Clan was in a boiling situation. Looking at his father in front of him, the Red Fire Dragon was very excited but worried. Although Yunwu once established power here, she was still a little timid. Whether she could explain to her father what she wanted to get support, and she was worried that she could not bring the power of the dragon and Yunwu dance. He bowed his head and kept silent for a long time before he finally walked towards his father with a smile. A group of people welcomed him into the hall. The Dragon King sat on his throne and looked down at the Red Fire Dragon. He was very happy. "How can Izzy return to the family today? Is there any difficulty in training with Yunwu girl? Do you need help for your father?" The Red Fire Dragon scratched his head and looked at the friendly Dragon King in front of him. After a moment's silence, he said, "In fact, today I'm here to borrow from my father." Borrowing troops? When Red Fire Dragon said this, even the Dragon King raised his eyebrows, and the people under him whispered more. Looking at Red Fire Dragon, there was a lot of noise in the hall. "Yes, my father, my son wants to ask my father's permission to support us in attacking the Beast Gate." Red Fire Dragon clenched his fist, suddenly raised his head and said loudly and firmly. Looking at the Red Fire Dragon standing in the center of the main hall, in an instant, the pot burst in the main hall. It's frightening to hear that the Red Fire Dragon wants to attack the Beast Gate together. Red Fire Dragon, are you sure you have already thought about it? The Dragon King said, "You know, this matter needs our careful consideration, but we can't be rash. Now it's just a plan to use troops. As a soldier, we can't just borrow." But the Dragon King. "Our people are also threatened by all kinds of beasts. If we can catch all kinds of beasts, it will be very beneficial to us." In the main hall, several elders began to persuade the Dragon King anxiously. The Dragon King said with a smile, "Don't worry about it. I didn't say I didn't plan to send troops. I'm very happy. If all the ministers are willing, then this matter is settled." You elders suddenly Aleng, and the Dragon King came to such a instant all relaxed breath. The Red Fire Dragon was very happy and looked at the Dragon King and laughed. Sure enough, although his status is insignificant, but still want to thank Cloud Dance before pay. "When shall we start?" "Father, please arrange it as soon as possible." The Red Fire Dragon arched at the Dragon King and said with a smile. Shao Tribe. When Xiao Wu saw the young man in white standing at the door, he opened his mouth in surprise. For a long time, he didn't respond. His hands were covered with dust when he was cutting firewood, so he put down his things and looked around for something to wipe his hands. Finally, "Wipe your hands clean, then open the door and let them in." "Lord Wu, I was surprised to see you here today when I left last time. Why did you come back again?" Nangong Yi and Shengguan are not polite. They come in and sit at Xiao Wu's home. "Wife, come and pour tea for the guests," Xiao Wu suddenly shouts to the inside. Suddenly, Shengguan and Nangong Yi are surprised and look at Xiao Wu. "Have you got a wife?" Xiao Wu nodded hastily and laughed. "Thanks to Emperor Wu, I've recovered my fighting spirit. Otherwise, I'm afraid I'm still under pressure and I can't find my wife. After a while, Xiao Wu's wife came out. A gentle and beautiful woman came to pour tea for Nangong Yi and Nangong Yi. After chatting for a while and exchanging greetings with each other for a while, Nangong Yi and Shengguan get up and leave and walk towards the residence of the head of the Xiao family. But I didn't see the head of the Xiao tribe. We're here to work together. As soon as the Shengguan came forward, he found out what he was coming for and said directly to the person who received them. But without the patriarch, we can't be the master. The visitor said that looking at Shengguan and Nangongji, they were very indifferent. So when will the patriarch come back? Asked Nangong Yi. The patriarch goes to other tribes to discuss important matters, so he won't come back in half a month. In that case, our people don't receive anyone. Well, why don't we wait here? Shengguan asked. He turned to Nangong Yi, but Nangong Yi shook his head. So they quickly came out. Xiao Wu is in an emergency. The power of Xiaojia tribe is not very strong. We don't have to waste time. Thinking about it in his heart, he nodded with approval, then we'll go back right away. Nangong Yi nodded in agreement. Flint. Yunwu and Longqingxi take Huolinger back to the city master's mansion first, waiting for Huideng to return triumphantly. After knowing the identity of Yunwu, the followers no longer dare to despise them. They came back together. And Huolinger, with a look of joy, knew that Huishi town had been saved. At present, the two people in charge of protecting Huolinger have changed their attitude. Although they still have no look on their faces, when they see them coming back, they take the initiative to order them to go down and prepare food and tea. When they see Huolinger fainting in Yunwu's arms, they go to ask the doctor to come and have a look. After Yunwu put Huolinger away and the doctor came to see it again, it showed that Huolinger had no problem, but was too nervous to faint. The two men were relieved. Ladies and gentlemen, please follow me to the next room to have a rest. When the Lord comes back, I'll inform you. One of the two people came forward and said to Yunwu. Yunwu looks at Huolinger lying on the bed. Knowing that she is just disturbing her, she nods and goes to the next room with Longqingxie. Originally thought that it would not take long for Huideng to come back. The clinker didn't come back until it was dark. Finally, there was a loud noise outside the Lord's mansion, accompanied by the cry of the whole street outside. Yunwu opens his eyes, wakes up from the previous cultivation state, turns to see Dragon Qingxie standing at the window, and looks down at the downstairs. They're back. Hearing the news, Longqingxie turned around and said with a smile, it seems that they feel very happy. It's busy outside. Do you want to go out now or wait for them to come to you? Cloud Dance thought, suddenly eyes a bright way, if now in the past, maybe a happy event, can become two. Longqingxie was stunned and instantly understood the meaning of Cloud Dance. He couldn't help shaking his head and said, well, it's better to be alone than all the others. Let's join in the fun. After that, they left the room together and followed the sound to the outside. Outside the city lord's residence is the most prosperous street in the whole Flint town. It's midnight now. In the past, the curfew has passed, but today it is particularly prosperous. All the residents of Flint town went out to welcome the triumphant team. Huideng came back with the only people left. Although it was a tragic victory, many people thought that the town would lose this time. So the crowd was still very excited to see them return. As soon as they got to the street, they were deafened by the overwhelming cheers. They had no choice but to look at each other, and then they returned to the gate of the Lord's mansion, waiting for the arrival of the team. After a long time, Huideng and others finally came back, and those welcome people gathered at the gate of the city lord's mansion, surrounded by the triumphant people. Huideng saw Yunwu standing at the door from a distance, turned over from the mount and walked to Yunwu. Miss Cloud Dance, it's really you. Are you back? Fire Ting of face surprise of say. In the battle, he knew that Yunwu had come back, but after the battle, he looked around, but he never saw Yunwu. He thought they had left first, but he only saw them when he came back. I knew that I should have told them to clean the battlefield at that time, and I would have come back to see them first. Yunwoo nodded, just wanted to say something, but Hwodong made a gesture, indicating that she would not speak for a while. Behind him, a group of soldiers had been waiting in order. Some relatives had come to greet them. They all secretly went forward and hugged their families excitedly. Hwodong saw it, but didn't say much. Ladies and gentlemen. After clearing his throat, Hwodong finally opened his mouth. Use the fighting spirit to spread the sound, so that everyone can hear clearly. When he finishes the 2 words, no matter who is quiet, watching him, waiting for his next words. First of all, I want to tell you a piece of good news, that is, this battle, Flint Town is lucky to survive from the joint efforts of major towns, and not only survived, but also won. From now on, we don't have to bow down in front of Yulin Town anymore. In a word, the morale of the masses was instantly aroused, and cheers resounded again. Everyone felt that the big stone in his heart was finally lifted. It seemed that at this moment, even his breath was smoother. After a long time of cheering, Hwodong finally raised his hand to signal everyone to be quiet. Standing at the top of the fire ting, no matter what action will be seen clearly, everyone immediately quiet down, a face excited wait for fire ting next words. This time, Yulin Town united with the other 4 towns to fight against Hwishur Town, and its strength cannot be underestimated. Although the strength of Flint Town is not weak, it is difficult to survive with such strength. But at the critical moment, God's mercy, I finally broke through the realm of Emperor Wu, thus reversing the war. All this was done by a noble man. It's her timely appearance that can help me improve my strength secretly and make Firestone Town survive. As soon as Hwodong's words were finished, everyone was surprised. Is there such a noble person? When did Firestone meet such a noble man? Lord! Who is that noble man? Is she still here? Lord, please ask the noble man out. Let's thank her together. Yes, Lord, please come out quickly. A voice request sent out, this kind of life-saving thing, everyone is eager to know who saved Firestone Town, let alone, or an expert. Hwodong touched the beard on his cheek and said, this benefactor is here now. I think everyone has heard about it. That's her fire ting hand a finger, everyone's line of sight moment with fire ting together moved to the body of Cloud Dance. I saw a beautiful but cold woman standing there quietly, clearly so dazzling, but just standing here for a long time, not many people noticed her. This kind of existence, either there is no cultivation, generally no one will feel her existence, or her strength is too strong, so that even if people see her, but also because of her own reasons, they will not deliberately remember her. And fire ting again, such a point, very obvious, can only be the second kind of possibility. People can't help but take a breath. Is such a young woman the master of the city? Is she also a master of Emperor Wu? However, Hwodong immediately said, Miss Cloud Dance and Lord Long Qingxia are both masters of Wuling Realm. This time, Hwishur Town can survive with the help of 5 cities because of their help. The crowd was boiling again. He is a strong man in the Wuling Realm, and there are 2 people when he appears. It's a shocking existence anywhere outside. Now Hwishur Town can get the protection of such experts, isn't it a great blessing? Yunwoo stood in the rear and looked at Longqingxi, but he couldn't help shaking his head. This Hwodong must have guessed that they must have something to do when they come back this time, so they should first build up momentum for themselves, take advantage of the chance of triumphant return, and let them have prestige in the hearts of the residents of Hwishur Town, and then they can talk easily. At the moment, Yunwoo stepped forward under the hint of Hwodong, and said with a smile, Lord of Fire, this time we just came back by chance. We just happened to encounter this incident. Naturally, we can't stand by. Anyway, it was you who helped us to enter the tomb. Ha ha ha, Miss Cloud Dance doesn't have to care. The weight of these 2 things can't be confused. Fire Ting said brightly. In fact, this time I came back for another thing. I need the help of the Lord of Fire and Hwishur Town. If the Lord of Fire can agree. Cloud Dance timely raised the question. Hwodong waved his big hand and said directly in front of the crowd, Miss Yunwoo, if you have something to say, please tell me. You saved all the lives of the people in Hwasher town this time. My Hwodong's life is yours. If you have any difficulties, just say that as long as I can help you, I will not refuse. Everybody said, is that right? Yes, exclaimed the excited crowd. As soon as Yunwoo saw it, he said, in that case, it's true. I wonder if you've ever heard of the Beast Gate? As soon as the word, Beast Gate, came out, Hwodong was the first to change his face. However, the crowd below was still confused, not knowing what the meaning of Beast Gate in Bayun dance was, and what kind of sect it was. Cloud Dance is not anxious, and then the situation of the Beast Gate and his gratitude and resentment all the way to speak out in front of the public. There are some things that can't be said in the middle, so they all skip over and only say what can be told. There are still some words that depress the voice. Only Hwodong can hear them. In the process of Cloud Dance, Hwodong's face became more and more heavy. The more he listened to Cloud Dance, the more Hwodong understood what this task meant. Lord of Fire, this is my request. Cloud Dance looking at Fire Tang already don't know to change several to change of facial expression, Light of Say. Hwodong took a deep breath and was deeply shocked by the news he had just heard. Miss Cloud Dance, do you really want to fight against the Beast Gate? Hwodong asked, frowning. For him, such a monster as the Beast Gate is not something he can provoke. If he is not careful, he will bury the whole city in it. That's right. Cloud Dance definitely nodded, eyes full of firm, even if I don't go to them, they won't let me go. What's more, the ambition of the Beast Gate is very clear. If we don't eliminate them, one day, their ambition will be expanded and their strength will be enhanced a little bit. At that time, do you think it is possible for other people to live? Either do evil with them, or there is only one way out. Cloud Dance's words severely shocked Hwodong's heart. Why didn't he understand this truth? Just think of oneself want to press the life of the whole city on top, can't help but hesitate again. If he was only a person, he would do his best to help Yunwoo, but now, Lord, promise Miss Yunwoo. She saved all our lives in Flint Town. Even if we fight against that gate, what's the matter? Yes, Lord, what's more, such bad forces should not exist. Below the crowd again export, and Fire Tang before the momentum has finally had the effect. One person, two people, a group of people, no matter the soldiers who just came back from the battlefield or the ordinary people who came to meet them, they were looking at Hwodong with sincere eyes, waiting for his answer. Hwodong suddenly feels that he has some failures. When it comes to this time, what are you hesitating about? At the moment, Hwodong immediately made up his mind and said in a loud voice, okay. I, Firestone, would like to join you the next day. The whole town of Flint was wrapped up in a joyful atmosphere, just like the spring festival. The reason is nothing else. After returning triumphantly the day before, Hwodong ordered Hwasher town to have a 3-day carnival to celebrate the return of the soldiers and the joining of the Cloud Dance team in Hwasher town. While everyone is in the carnival, Yunwoo and others are discussing a big event about the future of Flint town in the city master's mansion. Miss Cloud Dance, do you mean to let us take over the other 5 towns? Hwodong looked at the Cloud Dance in shock, some can't believe it. Although he had thought so at the end of the war, at that time, he was only lucky that he got the help of Yunwoo, otherwise the whole Flint town would be flattened by other towns. Now, Yunwoo tells him to take over all the towns on his own. That's right. Cloud Dance nodded seriously. If you don't, can you guarantee that they won't unite against Flint in the future? Hwodong was silent, and the people in charge of Hwasher town who were sitting on one side were also silent. There's another reason for that. Yunwoo then said, the existence of the Beast Gate must be known to all of you. If we don't have a certain strength, it will be easy to be bullied if we really fight at that time. At least we have to have the strength to protect ourselves. It's too difficult to rely on the strength of Hwasher town. If we can take over other towns, the strength of Flint town will increase several times in an instant, and it will be beneficial in future wars. What do you think? Yunwu's words finally shaken the people present. Although not all of them have heard of the Beast Gate, everyone who has come into contact with it knows the horror of the Beast Gate. What's more, Yunwu has made it very clear that if you want to deal with the Beast sect, you must gather a lot of strength to have the power of the First World War. Is the sect that can be so valued weak? Finally, Huideng nodded and said, "Okay, I'm willing to send troops to Huisher town and accept the other 5 towns. It's just that you need help." Yunwu and Longqingxi look at each other and see the smile in each other's eyes. They immediately nod their heads and say, "It's easy to say." The troops soon gathered together. As soon as they heard that they were going to fight the other 5 big towns, all the soldiers were excited. In the previous battle, they were beaten hard. Now, they finally have the opportunity to revenge. In addition, there are 2 people in Yunwu. How can they not be excited? At present, these people who have just come down from the battlefield, only 1 day's rest and 1 day's preparation time, are impatiently gathered together. This morning, Yunwu and Longqingxi walked beside Huideng and went to the training ground of Huisher town. Standing at a high place, I saw the excited soldiers below. It was as if I saw a powerful force being born little by little. Soldiers. Today is the time for us to be ashamed before the snow in Flint town. As simple words instantly ignited the passion of the soldiers. Firing big hand wave, the team set out toward the outside of the city. The first target is Yulin town. As a strong enemy of Huisher town for many years, Yulin town has been trying every means to suppress Huisher town. Originally, it was the best opportunity to join hands with other towns, but it was destroyed by Yunwu. At this time, they do not know that today, the state of suppression will be reversed. They're off, and it's time for us to move. Long Qingxie stood high with his arms in his arms and looked down at the soldiers below. It seems that he was infected by the atmosphere below, so Dragon Qingxie's body also exudes a kind of bloodthirsty breath at this time. Cloud Dance's eyebrows slightly pick, said, "Go, remember to hand not too obvious." After that, he and Long Qingxie flew directly to the front of the team, not far behind Huideng, and headed for Yulin town. At this time, both of them were dressed in the clothes of the officers and men of Huisher town. If you don't look carefully, you can't see that they are the 2 strong men in the Wuling realm. This is also to establish the prestige of Huideng. At this time, the Lord Mu was sitting behind the table in the mansion of the Lord of Yulin town. "Go away. Get the hell out of here," Mu's city lord overturned in front of the table, angrily said, "Just don't know because what thing's angry." Suddenly a figure burst in. "Lord! No! Flint town, Flint is coming." The city master Mu's face sank and rushed to the bodyguard directly. He grabbed his collar and said, "What did you say?" "Fire, Flint is coming." Mu's city lord hands a force, that bodyguard instant double eyes wide open, random stare twice, soon no breath. "Huideng, do you think Emperor Wu is very powerful? How dare you call?" The lord of Mu city said coldly, then his figure flashed and went out directly. The team of Yulin town was as fast and orderly as they could in their life. The city master Mu no longer ignored his image and rushed out with the team. As soon as he got out of the city gate, Huideng rushed directly at himself. "Master Mu. I want your life today." Fire Teng's eyes are cold, and a big knife in his hand cuts at the Lord Mu impolitely. The Lord Mu was surprised. He blocked the attack with his sword. He thought it was a match. The sword in Clinker's hand broke under the attack. The Lord of Mu was shocked. He forgot that Huideng was Emperor Wu. Hey, Lord Mu, do you think I am the former Huideng?" Fireting said with a sneer, listening to the ears of the city master Mu. "I just feel scared. Today, you should die." Say, Fireting mercilessly toward Mu's city main attack. Yunwu and Longqingxi stood in the front of the troops, looking at the situation of Huideng, waving behind them, and said in a cold voice, "Up! Kill! Dash!" The shouts and shouts resounded in this world, and the high aspiration inspired people. Although the number is not large, all the soldiers brought in this time are elite soldiers with such high morale that they beat the soldiers of Yulin Town who are not ready to gather. Cloud Dance 2 people shuttle in the team, select the master to start, in her and Long Qingxia attack, Yulin Town master is less and less. It was clearly a battle between the two towns, but it ended very quickly because of the participation of Cloud Dance. 2 hours later, the team of Huisher Town broke through the gate of Yulin Town, and the army drove straight in. The next day, the team of Huisher Town gathered again, this time aiming at another town next to Yulin Town. It's still Hudeng in the realm of Emperor Wu. Yunwu and Longqingxi follow Hudeng. It's as if the battlefield of Yulin Town yesterday has been moved to today. Everything goes the same way the 3rd day, the 4th day until the 5th day, all the towns united to attack Huisher Town were destroyed. Hudeng laughs loudly at the Lord's mansion of Huisher Town, and sees Yunwu off with his wine cup. Miss Cloud Dance. I'm very lucky to be able to build a wonderful woman like you, help me out of danger, and help me level other towns if there is any need in the future, I will not refuse. Cloud Dance 2 mouth corners a hook, toward the Fire Tang will hand of wine a drink. If you win the war, I'm afraid the Fire Lord will be busy for a while. We still have urgent work to do, so we won't stay. I believe we won't meet for long. Cloud Dance lightly says, then put down the wine cup on the hand, to the fire spirit son of one side not to give up to smile a little, then and the dragon Qing evil 2 people directly fly to leave the city lord mansion. Behind him, all the people in the lord's mansion could not see them until they turned back. The top of the volcano. Jinling's huge body fell from the air. Yunwu and Yunwu came down from his back and took him back into the space directly. Cloud Dance found the cave entrance where the fire beasts lived. Nearby the underground caves, there are all red stones, and the hot wind comes in bursts, which makes the Cloud Dance can't help but frown, and the dragon nearby doesn't speak, just looking at the surrounding caves. However, these caves are all lit up. Long Qingxia is still looking around curiously. Yunwu has taken Long Qingxia to the Fire King's residence. Just walked to the Fire Beast King's residence, was stopped by the guard in front of, "Who are you?" "We are here to help you solve the array problem. Take us to the Fire Beast King." Cloud Dance opens the door to the mountain road. The guard looked up and down at the 2 people for a long time before he turned to the other guard and said something. The guards around him looked at Yunwu carefully and then turned to leave. After a while, the guard ran out again and bowed respectfully to Yunwu. It seemed that he knew their identity and led them to walk inside. After a while, he went to the cave. The King of Fire Beast was sitting in it. He immediately stood up and looked at Yunwu and laughed, "Yunwu girl. Are you really here today to solve the array for us?" Yunwu nodded to the king and said, "What do you think? This one is next to me, but I asked him to come here to help you solve the array." Hearing Yunwu say so, the Fire Beast King noticed the dragon Qingxia around Yunwu. The dragon Qingxia was sitting on one side leisurely, with a lazy face. The Fire Beast King asked Yunwu in disbelief, "Do you mean this one can help us solve the array problem?" Cloud Dance just a faint smile, turned to see the dragon Qing evil, have the heart to say, "Rest assured good, certainly can." "In that case, please." "Well? Don't worry." Yunwu smiles mysteriously. Fire Beast King Aleng suddenly thought of what, quickly said, "Cloud Girl, do you have any requirements need us to do?" The Fire Beast King is really smart. Yunwu looked down at the King of Fire Beast and said, "I don't know what kind of conditions the King of Fire Beast can accept." Hearing this, the Fire Beast King lowered his head, frowned, thought for a long time, and finally raised his head. "Ponder, that don't know Cloud Dance Girl, can offer what kind of condition? If I say, let you support us to destroy the Beast Gate?" Cloud Dance very seriously said, turn to see Dragon Qing Xia. Dragon Qing Xia just smile at her, blink eyes full of tenderness. The King of Fire Beast was surprised and looked at the Cloud Dance. He was stunned for a long time. He lowered his head and sighed, "But you know, our group has been trapped here for a long time, and we have no combat ability. I don't believe fire beasts can't fight. Cloud Dance interrupted him. I help you to regain self-talk, you listen to my orders, help me to kill the beast gate, don't say, this is unfair to the fire beast king. But the fire beast king lowered his head, frowned and sighed, Miss Cloud Dance, it's not that we don't help you, but because now it seems that if you help us regain our freedom, and we suffer a lot from it, I think, or... Seeing this, Yunwu sighed and said, it seems that the fire beast king is not satisfied with this condition. In that case, we'll go first. Now the situation is urgent, we can't afford to stay here for too long. With that, Yunwu got up, turned around and was ready to go. Long Qingxi also stood up and went out. The fire beast king anxiously looked at the Cloud Dance and Dragon's evil back getting smaller and smaller in front of him. He was very sad. He grabbed his hair anxiously, closed his eyes and thought carefully. He could not help but stand up and pace restlessly. On this side, as soon as he came out of the cave, Long Qingxie was a little strange. Little guy, are you going like this? The hot wind made both of them frown, but Yunwu didn't say anything. She went straight out of the cave and walked towards the edge. After a short time, Yunwu stopped and stood in an open space beside the entrance of the cave. Leaning against the rock, he looked up at the red rock on the mountain and said, of course I won't go. The King of Fire will come out immediately and promise our terms. Do you believe it? Sure enough, before he finished speaking, the king rushed out of the cave and looked around, very anxious. Cloud Dance looked at Dragon Qingxia, eyes full of smile, came out, Fire Beast King, what's the matter? I just turned around to see you in a hurry to chase out, think something is wrong. Before he finished, the King of Fire Beast said to Yunwu in a hurry, I promise your terms, I promise. That would be wonderful. Yunwu seemed very happy in his tone, but his eyes were full of confidence. In that case, let Dragon Qingxia untie the array here, then build the teleportation array, take you away from here and join our team. Good. As long as we can leave, we will listen to you in the future, said the King of Fire. Long Qingxia nodded and said to the King of Fire Beast, then please lead me to an open space. I'll solve this array. Before he finished, he saw the clouds around him and turned to the King of Fire, but you must keep your promise, otherwise, it's really hard to do. Of course it is. The Fire Beast King smiles and turns to look at Yunwu. After all, Yunwu girl is kind to me. How can she not repay her kindness? With that, the Fire Beast King suddenly turned into a giant dragon. The dragon jumped up, looked down at the Cloud Dance on the ground and said, don't you come with me? Go ahead and come back to me later. Cloud Dance way, suddenly in front of a gust of wind, Fire Beast King with Dragon Qing evil sword into the sky, disappeared in an instant. Yunwu stood in front of the Fire Beast King's residence, looking up at the darkness and read. The huge body of the Fire Beast King soars on the top of the volcano. On his back, the dragon stands above and looks down at the fiery world below. This array. Long Qingxia frowned. Under the leadership of the Fire Beast King, he flew around the boundary that the Fire Beast could reach. He could see the faint golden light on the ground at the boundary. And every other distance, the golden light will extend to the inside, as if drawing something. My lord, can this array be solved? The King of Fire asked expectantly. Trapped here for so long, now I finally have a little hope, how can I not be excited? Long Qingxia pondered for a while and said, fly higher, I need to find the array eye. As soon as the Fire Beast King heard the word array eye, it seems that this adult really has some skills that others don't have. Now, without saying a word, they fly higher. With the rise of the height, Long Qingxia quickly saw the existence of the whole array. The light gold is hidden in the red rocks. If ordinary people come here, they will not find its existence. But Long Qingxia is the strong one in the Wuling realm, so after some identification, he soon remembered the whole array in his heart. This array has some reputation. It can only imprison special races, while other creatures will not be affected if they break into the array. Long Qingxia touched his chin and said thoughtfully, my lord, I can't go on. The Fire Beast King can't care to listen to the dragon's evil words at this time. The closer he gets to the edge of the array, the greater the pressure. This situation is not so obvious on the ground, but the more in the sky, the more clearly you can feel the pressure. Oh! Long Qingxie looked at the King of Fire in surprise. He looked up and looked up. In the blur, it seemed that there was an almost transparent protective layer standing in it. But Long Qingxie didn't feel any pressure. Look at the Fire Beast King under him, but he is already sweating. He is clearly in the state of Warcraft, but he can't stand this kind of pressure. Fly down a little bit. Thinking that he had to rely on the Fire Beast King to find the array, Long Qingxie said. Good. The King of Fire was relieved and flew down. Until he felt comfortable, he finally let go and continued to fly left and right under the command of the dragon. Wait! All of a sudden, Long Qingxie gave a cold drink, and the King of Fire Beast was surprised. He quickly stopped, and the wings on his back were flapping. Long Qingxie lowered his head and looked at the place below seriously. He said, "That's where it is. It will fall down directly." The Fire Beast King got the order and didn't dare to neglect. He rushed to the bottom with the dragon's evil, and finally fell to the ground under the command of the dragon's evil. After Long Qingxie fell down, he carefully identified the position and finally determined the exact position of the eye of the needle. This array is really extraordinary. It's left by the ancient summoner. It's true. The Fire Beast King laughed bitterly. What the Lord said is really true. If it wasn't left by the ancient summoner, how could we be trapped here for so long? Long Qingxie looked at the Fire Beast King's painful face, mixed with faint hope. Long Qingxie said, "It's really a powerful array. Let me have a try. Can I untie it?" Having said that, Long Qingxie directly sat cross-legged on the eye of the array and began to deal with the legendary array. A force that seems to come from ancient times emerges from the palm of the dragon's hand and finally flows into the bottom of the body. When the white force touches the golden array, the original thin layer of gold suddenly becomes clear, as if it is drawing a beautiful picture. The King of Fire Beast looked at everything in front of him in shock. He couldn't believe it. Originally, he just brought Long Qingxie with the mentality of a dead horse as a living horse doctor, but at this time, he seemed to have a lot of research on the array. Suddenly, he had a little more hope in his heart and was staring at Long Qingxie. The golden array finally appeared, and the whole land was shrouded in a golden light. At the next moment, the palm of the dragon's hand, which was placed in front of his chest, suddenly changed. Every movement was extremely coherent, and the power from ancient times was constantly sent out, exploring every part of the array thoroughly. Then, the array began to be relieved under the changing technique of Dragon's Evil. Every time the white power moves forward, it will enter the golden light little by little, as if it were poison. Such a huge array spread all over the top of the volcano. It took 2 hours just to fuse the two. As time went by, the Fire Beast King's heart sank slowly. After all this time, is there any hope of relief? However, when the Fire Beast King almost gave up, this step finally ended. Dragon Qing Evil has been closed eyes suddenly opened, a pair of bright eyes bright frightening. Then, a light but clear, pop word came out of his mouth. All of a sudden, the top of the volcano is full of golden light. Just when we don't know what happened, all of a sudden, the golden light on the ground explodes like fireworks. The sound of crackling resounds continuously, clearly like flowers, but without the slightest danger. The light bloomed for a quarter of an hour, and finally gradually dissipated. Array disappeared. Fire Beast King can't believe looking at all this, countless times appeared in the dream scene at this time finally appeared in front of, and the pressure in the air finally disappeared. Benefactor. The Fire Beast King, Poof Chi, knelt down in front of the Dragon Qing Xie who just got up, and his excited words were incoherent. Dragon Qing Evil Light looked at him, said, "Remember the transaction between us." The Fire Beast King quickly nodded and said, "Please rest assured, sir." We have all decided to follow Miss Yunwu forever. We will never break our promise. That's the best. Long Qingxie nodded, then sat on the Fire Beast King again, and went to the direction of Cloud Dance. Yunwu and others have been waiting for a long time, and almost all the fire orcs come out to meet them. When the two sides handed over, Yunwu was not polite. He directly mentioned the cooperation again, and then he said that he wanted the dragon to build the transmission array. Yunwu closed her eyes and felt it quietly. It was not long before a wave came. In an instant, the whole underground seems to pour into a very cool wind, which makes the corner of Cloud Dance raise unconsciously. In an instant, this kind of light feeling makes the fire beasts on the top of the volcano boiling and all rush out to look at the sky. See, in the sky, that layer of invisible barrier instantly disappear without a trace. Not long after, I saw the huge figure of the King of Fire flying from a distance. Long Qingxie jumped down from the back of the Fire Beast King and stood in front of Yunwu. With a smile of evil spirit in the corner of his mouth, he reached out to Yunwu's head and said, "Little guy, it's almost done. How about we kiss you?" Yunwu ignored him, raised his head and looked at the Fire Beast King who had changed into a human form in an instant, then it settled. "I'll let Dragon Qingxie build the teleportation array and teleport everyone. Why don't we have a rest today and then tomorrow?" No, Cloud Dance waved, "Let's go today. Let's hurry up." Then he summoned his mount and ran to the forest outside the top of the volcano. Before long, I had already leaped out of the volcano and saw a vast expanse of forest outside. "How long are we going to fly?" Long Qingxie turns his head to ask the Cloud Dance on one side. "It will take about half a day." The King of Fire led the way and said aloud. All the way speechless, they flew to the direction of Firestone Town. Finally, towards noon, we finally saw the edge of the forest, the place connected with Flint Town. As soon as I came down, I felt the smell of a fresh leaf in the forest. Everyone took a breath and was shocked. Long Qingxie reached out to touch Yunwu's hair and said nothing more. He walked forward and stood in an open space. The open space is surrounded by lush trees. Yunwu and the King of Fire Beast stand behind the dragon and look at the dragon quietly. The dragon's evil body suddenly gushed out a stream of energy, surrounded by him as if he were a living creature. He closed his eyes, and his clothes were windless, so he was extremely evil. Not long after, I saw the dragon in front of the evil, like a picture scroll, showing in front of Yunwu and Yunwu. This makes the Fire Beast King surprised to see the masterpiece of Dragon Qingxie. It takes a lot of energy to establish the teleportation array. Yunwu stands behind Long Qingxie, frowning slightly, and seems to be a little nervous. The weather is hot, although it is in the woods, but the noon sun still shines on people's minds. The King of Fire Beast turned his head to see Yunwu. Yunwu's forehead was already covered with tiny beads of sweat. He frowned slightly. He looked nervous, but he didn't seem worried. The sun slanted to the west. Gradually, the heat of the whole forest faded away, and a touch of coolness came quietly. The Fire Beast King looked a little worried. He turned his head and asked Cloud Dance carefully, "Why hasn't the transmission array been established for so long?" Cloud Dance frowned and shook his head slightly. The establishment of the transmission array is very physical, but now he is the only one to support, so it must be relatively difficult. He turned to the Fire Beast King and said, "After building the teleportation array today, please let the Fire Beast King arrange accommodation for us." Before long, I saw countless energies in front of me converging into the rudiment of a transmission array, gradually falling to the ground. The energy around Dragon Qingxie disappears instantly. The sun gradually disappeared at the end of the forest. The body shape of Long Qingxie shakes and nearly falls down. Yunwu comes forward in a hurry and reaches out his hand to hold Long Qingxie. "Are you okay?" Cloud Dance looks at the dragon that stands unsteadily beside him to pour evil, some worry. Around, Long Qingxie looked very tired, but he kneaded Yunwu's head and said, "It's nothing. Just let me sleep." Yunwu turned his head and looked at the Fire Beast King. So, the teleportation array has been built. Let's go. Tomorrow, we will leave from this teleportation array. The king nodded and turned to look at the dark forest. Little one. Long Qingxie's whole body weight depends on Yunwu's body, and his nose spits on Yunwu's neck. His voice is very evil. Are you worried about me? Save your strength and stop talking. Cloud Dance Light said, but saw in front of the Fire Beast King cough twice, turned around, toward the forest outside. Let's go back quickly, after all, the forest is not very safe at night. The Cloud Dance calls out the Golden Spirit, supports the dragon to pour evil, and flies to the top of the volcano together. After all, there are still many fire beasts around. It's not good to go into Flint Town. As soon as he entered the bottom of the volcano, the King of Fire Beast hurriedly ordered him to go down and prepare 2 caves for Yunwu and Long Qingxi. Yunwu helps Long Qingxie all the way back to the cave. Without saying a word, Long Qingxie sits on the bed and begins to exercise his power and breath. Seeing this, Yunwu didn't do any more, turned around and went out quietly. The next morning, Yunwu and Long Qingxi were woken up by a loud noise. As soon as I went out, I saw the dragon at the entrance of the mountain. Dragon Qingxia saw Cloud Dance, went forward and printed a kiss on Cloud Dance's face. Little guy, wake up so early. What's going on out there? Cloud Dance asked, looking forward. I saw not far ahead, a huge open space, countless fire beast people, standing there, ready to go, shouting slogans from time to time, magnificent. Of course, it's the people who support our operation and go to the teleport array today. Yunwu suddenly nodded and sighed. Let's take them to the teleportation array now. Next, we need to meet Qi Yi's and go to the top of the desert together. So they came to the King of Fire. When the Fire Beast King saw that they were the two, he came over with a smile, patted the dragon on the shoulder and said, thanks to you, otherwise we may still be trapped here. If you let us regain our freedom, we will do our best to help. Looking at the Cloud Dance, the Fire Beast King pointed to the following and said, you see, this is the elite of our Fire Beast people. They are all concentrated here. As long as you speak, we can start at any time. With that, Yunwu also looked at the open space below. They stood there, their eyes full of excitement, because they haven't gone out from here for a long time, and their hearts are full of surprise and excitement. Then let's go. Cloud Dance said, so called out the mount, everyone together toward the direction of the transmission array. Half a day, finally arrived at the transmission array. The Fire Beast soldiers were surprised to see the transmission array. Tut tut. Let's start. In the desert. Meng Bai and Qi Yi's continue to march forward. In front of them is the endless desert, the long yellow sand blowing on the two people's faces, burning sun, make them hungry and thirsty. I just didn't expect to come back here. Meng Bai said, pointing to the front. I remember the front is the place where I knew Jia Zhong after you entered the cannibal tribe. That little girl. Qi Nightlight said, continue to move forward, we will go there to rest. Meng Bai agreed and continued to move forward. Until they were both hungry, thirsty and dizzy, they finally saw the inn. Suddenly, both of them were relieved. Into the inn, two people asked for a pot of water. Gudong gudong down, this is finally quenched thirst, feel a burst of comfort. At this time, I heard another story in the inn. It was about Qi Yi's breaking into the cannibal tribe alone. After hearing this, all the people were excited and cheered one after another. Listen to Qi Nightheart smile unceasingly, drink tea to cover up helpless, just why even our name already know. Because I told them. Around, suddenly a voice, let Qi Night and Meng Bai in front of a bright. Jia Zhong. Meng Bai was almost ready to laugh. Shoo, when did you come? I just walked in and saw you. I'm so happy. Jia Zhong said excitedly that he was still dressed in men's clothes. Now he looked very cute and red-faced. He looked around for a while and said quietly, we have to go out to talk. You have to help me, because the man my father sent to watch me is in this inn. Maybe I will be taken back by my father's people soon. On hearing this, Meng Bai burst out laughing, reached out and poked Jia Zhong's head, and said, I didn't expect you to be such a little girl. Turn to see, sure enough, there are about 5 or 6 men, a strong look toward this side. Meng Bai scratched his head, lying on Jia Zhong's ear and said in a low voice, You say you are a little girl with no ability. Why are so many people staring at you? Is it because you are too mischievous? When Meng Bai said that he was making trouble, Jia Zhong was very unhappy and showed his teeth to Meng Bai, Where can I make trouble? It's just that the desert is not peaceful now, so my father is worried about me. But when I meet you, I don't have to worry at all. Jia Zhong winked at Qi Yi's, but Qi Yi's didn't pay any attention to her. He couldn't help but put down his small mouth and said, Cold big sister. In a word, Qi Yi's and Meng Bai coughed. Well, what do you say we can get if we help you get out of here? Meng Bai whispered with a smile in his eyes. I guess you must have something to come back to this time, so I can find someone to help you solve this problem. Jia Zhong is very clever. His eyes are full of cunning when he looks at Meng Bai. Hey, this little girl is really terrible, let Meng Bai can't help but look at it with new eyes, and said, But you know, we come here today, I'm afraid that this matter can only be solved by the head of the clan. Hey, don't forget, you are our great heroes in the desert. Who do you think is not willing to help because of the two of you? Jia Zhong turned to look at the men. It seemed that he was ready to catch her. He quickly said, Don't worry, it's on me. Without asking what it was, he had already boasted, and Meng Bai had to smile bitterly. He grabbed Jia Zhong's arm and whispered, I said 1 2 3, we are ready to rush out. Qi Knight feel full of black lines, helplessly helped the amount, but there is no way, had to follow them. 1, 2, 3. Meng Bai just called 3, but the 6 people around him suddenly stood up, without saying a word, picked up Jia Zhong and ran out of the house. Qi Knight followed closely. No! Miss has been taken away, cried the men, running out of the inn. All of a sudden, a life-threatening rush was staged in the desert. Jia Zhong was carried on his shoulder, laughing out of shape. Meng Bai was half dead, spitting out his tongue and shouting, Find a place to hide, don't laugh. Although I would like to tell you where to go. Jia Zhong wiped his tears and couldn't help laughing, but, first, let me laugh enough, then, ha 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 ha. Then he began to laugh again. Meng Bai frowned slightly. Why did he feel that they were fooled by this little girl? Looking at Qi Yi, they nodded and threw Jia Zhongji to the ground. The ground is full of sand, so it doesn't hurt, but let Jia Zhong ouch, cover his ass, and look at them inexplicably. I saw 2 people standing in front of Jia Zhong, the sun was blocked, leaving only a shadow. Say, do you mean to play with us? The 2 men's tall figures made Jia Zhong swallow his saliva with fright. He laughed dryly, how can it be? Qi Knight squatted down, squinting, eyes revealed danger, then you say, where should we go? Jia Zhong looked pitifully at Qi Knight for a long time, and finally whispered, We'll be there if we go further. With that, Meng Bai shouldered her and continued to walk forward. Behind her, the voices of those people were getting closer and closer. After a while, Jia Zhong finally pointed to a hut and said, Yes, that's it. That's our secret base. Meng Bai didn't even think about it. He rushed into the hut. Quickly opened the door and then close. 3 people finally vomited breath. Meng Bai scratched his head, turned his head, looked at Jia Zhong, a little puzzled. What do you think I'm crazy about? Actually want to help you, this yellow-haired girl. Jia Zhong curled his lips, shrugged his shoulders and said, Because I'm good-looking. Qi Yi's heart now is to kill the little girl in front of him. But Jia Zhong coughed twice and suddenly became serious. You helped me escape from the clutches. You tell me what kind of help you want. I'll help you. Is that okay? Qi Yi's and Meng Bai looked at each other suspiciously, but after thinking about it, Meng Bai said, I want to get the support of your desert tribes. Scratching his head, it seems to be a bit embarrassed, but there are too many tribes in the desert, and we haven't contacted them, so we can't find them. Jia Zhong lowered his head, touched his chin and pondered for a long time before finally saying, generally speaking, we live in the desert and often receive threats from the sand scorpions and other warcraft. Therefore, we are scattered everywhere. However, our whole desert is a very united group, and we have an alliance. As soon as they heard about the alliance, their eyes suddenly lit up. They sat up straight and listened to Jia Zhong carefully. Our alliance is called Huangsha League. It's near the oasis in the center of the desert. I can take you to them. But you must follow me, because they are terrible before they confirm your identity, Jia said. Although they were still suspicious, they still chose to believe the only person they knew in the desert, even though they were only children. So the three men set out for Huangsha League. Not far away, I saw a large oasis in front of me. Behind it, there was a huge camp. Countless houses built of sand and bricks were located there. There is Huangsha League. Jia Zhong lies on Meng Bai's back, points to the front and says, so the three men speed up and move towards Huangsha League. It was not long before we reached the gate of Huangsha League. Who are you? In front of him, the guard grabbed the way of the three and asked. Jia Zhong was so excited that he grabbed one of them by the hand with a smile and said, Brother, don't you know me? I'm Jia Zhong. The guard was stunned and laughed, Sister Jia, how come you're here? Recently, the people of the 10,000 Beasts sect have made the whole league panic. Elder Jia really can't worry about you coming out. I came with these two people today. Jia Zhong smiles and turns to point to Qi Yi's and Meng Bai. But in an instant, the two guards' faces became very cold and alert. The swords suddenly came out and faced them. Who are these two people? With a helpless smile, Jia Zhong stretched out his hand to pull down the guard's hand and said, Don't worry, brother. These two people are my friends and the people who slaughtered the city at that time. Slaughtering the city? The guard didn't understand and looked at Jia Zhong strangely. Oh, the two people who slaughtered the cannibal tribe at that time. Before the words were finished, the two guards in front of them were excited and looked at the two people in front of them. They couldn't set up a channel, really, it's the two of them. The guard here has done the worship. On the other side, the other guard was very serious. Looking at the two people in front of him, he asked Jia Zhong, how can you prove that they are safe? You know, if it's from the Beast Gate, we're afraid. I am the evidence. Don't you believe me? I can prove it. Jia Zhong pointed at himself. But the guard frowned and shook his head. This brother. Meng Bai suddenly said, well, please tell the alliance leader that we are here to destroy the Beast Gate and seek support. Said, back 2 steps, standing at the door, did not move, the two of us are standing here, do not move. Looking at the two people really standing there waiting, there was no sign of invasion. The two guards were also relieved, looked down at Jia Zhong and said, then, Sister Jia Zhong, take us and explain the situation to the clan leader. Jia Zhong turned to look at them, and they both nodded. So Jia Zhong went in with a guard. Suddenly, 3 or 4 guards came from all directions and surrounded the two people. Meng Bai and Qi suddenly sat on the ground in the night, closed their eyes, no longer had any action. In a short time, Jia Zhong's voice came from the gate of Huangsha League, clear and sweet, Uncle Alliance Leader, I promise with my father's head. My father has seen them and arranged a teleportation array for them to send them away. Then why don't you let your father come to me? Because I'm sneaking out again. 2 people stand up in a hurry, and this, attracted bodyguards are scared, instantly raised the sword. Meng Bai quickly looks at the people coming out of the Huangsha League, only the person in front of him pulls Jia Zhong with a smile on his face, as if he is not worried about what the 2 people in front of him will do to him. For a moment, Meng Bai's eyes lit up and looked at the man in front of him, laughing. Chi Knight inexplicably looked at Meng Bai, said not very understand, but heard Meng Bai called, "Brother, do you still remember me?" The man who came out of the Yellow Sand League was stunned. He looked at Meng Bai through the door. After a while, his eyes lit up. You are the one in the desert, that. The man closed his eyes to think for a long time, but still did not remember, but the eyes have been full of excitement. Yes, I'm the one who gave me something to heal my wounds. Elder brother still remembers me. It turns out that elder brother is the leader of the alliance. Chi Yi's Leng, looking at the front, sure enough, the two people's expression is not deceptive, instant vomit breath, it seems that the situation is much simpler than expected. Sure enough, without saying a word, the leader opened the door and let them in. Brother, don't you doubt that we are sent by the beast sect? Meng Bai asked curiously. But the leader burst out laughing, reached out and patted Meng Bai on the shoulder and said, "What you do, big brother knows that the people of the Beast Gate don't have the heart to slaughter the whole cannibal tribe." Then he led them to the camp of Huangsha League and found a room to go in. "I hear you're here for support," said the leader. I didn't expect that the leader of the alliance came to the main topic so soon. Meng Bai was shocked and said his own meaning to the leader of the alliance in a hurry. After hearing this, the leader burst out laughing. "So, do you mean you want to attack the Beast Gate, and hope our Huangsha League can help you?" Meng Bai nodded seriously and looked into the eyes of the alliance leader. There was no joke. The leader of the alliance finally realized their seriousness, put away the smile on his face, and sighed deeply. "You know, recently we have been poisoned by the Beast Gate, and now the unity of the whole Huangsha League is in danger. If you can really lead us to defeat the Beast Gate, of course I will give my full support, but..." The leader raised his head and said, "I'm afraid we won't succeed. You know, we can't lose any more. If we make any more mistakes, I'm afraid the whole league will be over." Meng Bai turned his head and looked at Chi Yi's. Chi Yi's frowned slightly, looked down for a moment and said, "I don't know how to assure you that we will succeed, but you have to believe that we have been helped by most tribes and cities." Chi Yi said, raised his head and said seriously, "Why can't the leader fight against the enemy for the safety of the whole alliance?" With that, Meng opened her mouth and swallowed her saliva. After a long time, she burst into laughter and clapped her hands. Her eyes were full of praise. "It's really a woman who killed cannibals. I admire her courage." Then he turned around and said something to the people behind him. After a while, he turned to them and said with a smile, "I've ordered them to go down, and a strong team will be assembled in a short time. So I hope you'll stay here today and we'll leave tomorrow." But unexpectedly, Chi Yi's waved his hand and pondered, "At present, we have to go, so I hope you will be here at any time, waiting for our news. Attacking the Beast Gate is just around the corner." Hearing what Chi Yi said, the alliance leader naturally was very happy and nodded, "Yes, then we will start to prepare to gather teams and stand by in the Huangsha alliance." Chi Yi arched his hand at the alliance leader and turned to leave. The alliance leader narrowed his eyes, touched his chin and murmured, "It's really a strange woman who slaughtered a tribe of cannibals. This courage is really beyond people's ability." Just as he walked out of the gate, he saw Jia Zhong running from one side and looking up at them. "How do you feel? Has it been settled?" Meng Bai laughed, picked up Jia Zhong, threw him in the air and caught him again. He was so scared that Jia Zhong yelled, "Let me down. You have made a great contribution this time, so we will certainly repay you." Meng Bai said that he put Jia Zhong on the ground and said, "But now I have to borrow your teleportation array. We are going to the top of the desert." As soon as Jia Zhong heard that he had to go home, he withered and said pitifully, "You can have pity on me. Look at me. It's hard to come out to play every day. It's not easy." Before he finished, Meng Bai waved his hand and interrupted her, saying, "Is it not easy? So where did your information come from? I think it's hard to go home once." Then he picked up Jia Zhong and walked back like a chicken. "Go home when you've had enough, or your father will beat you." When Elder Jia saw that his child Jia Zhong was brought back by Meng Bai, he couldn't laugh or cry. He came up to Meng Bai and said, "I didn't expect that it was you who abducted my daughter. When my servant reported to me, I was really sweating." Meng Bai apologized in a hurry, and then said to Mr. Jia, "I come here for something today, and now I have to leave. I'm afraid I'm going to trouble Mr. Jia." Elder Jia touched his beard and laughed. He nodded and said, "No problem, no problem. Just use it. I'll take you there." Then he took the two men to the transmission array. They thank Mr. Jia again and then disappear in front of them. The next moment, two people appeared in a desert, yellow sand all over the sky. But in front of the gate not far away, it was bustling. From time to time, there was the sound of fighting. It was so chaotic that Qi Yi's and Meng Bai could not help frowning. Go to the gate. Before I went in, I was surrounded by a group of people. "Oh, newcomer, I haven't seen him." The two men looked at each other carefully, and they frowned. Qi Yi's drew out the snake sword and said, "I advise you not to get in my way, otherwise." Before the words were finished, several big men around all burst out laughing, as if they had heard some great jokes. "Little girl, I didn't expect that people are not so big and their tone is not small. Do you know where this is, where you can show off your power?" Qi Yi's picks eyebrows and looks at Meng Bai. Sure enough, before entering this place, a stream of blood has already spread out. Not to say much, Qi Yi suddenly raises his leg and kicks a man's stomach. In a moment, the man has fallen 2 meters away before he has time to shout. He lies on the ground in pain and shows his teeth. Around the big man, instantly opened his eyes. I thought that this foot had already deterred these people, but I didn't expect that more people would surround them. One by one, their eyes were excited as if they were about to burst out fire, full of eager to try, which made Qi Yi's feel ashamed. These people are really hot-blooded. How can they be so deadly? Qi Yi's frowned and said, "If Xiaowu doesn't say these people are good people, I'm afraid I really think we need to kill them." Another big man came forward and pointed at Qi Yi's, "Little girl, I didn't expect you to look weak. You are really so powerful. Come on, have a fight with me." Qi Yi's was about to step forward, but Meng Bai held him down. Meng Bai stepped forward and said with a smile, "I'll take this challenge. It's no good fighting with a girl." Then he walked forward. Suddenly, Qi Yi's grabbed Meng Bai's sleeve and stopped him. Looking not far away, he said, "I feel the breath of Xiaowu." So, Meng Bai also brightened his eyes and laughed, "I feel it too. Let's go to the dance party first," said two people without saying a word, and the people around them to fight. A group of people around a few people shouting, "Not long, more people around." Qi Yi's and Meng Bai can't help sighing. It's true that they are eager to fight before they explain their intention. If they go on like this, how hard it will be for them to enter the mercenary regiment. Just thinking about this, suddenly, seeing the crowd outside, two people came in and directly joined the fight. Suddenly, Qi Yi's were very happy. Little dance. Cloud dance and Dragon Qingxia smile and hook hands at the people in front of them. All of a sudden, so many experts came down, which made these young people excited. Before they could begin, some people came forward and started dancing with Cloud. Their faces were filled with excitement. "We can't move here at all." Meng Bai laughed bitterly, scratched his head and fought with a man. "Xiao Wu, where is your mercenary regiment? Are you looking for the mercenary regiment?" In front of a man, suddenly said. Suddenly, everyone stopped action. "Yes, we are going to your mercenary regiment." Meng Bai cut in. Several people want to say something, but before meeting, a man suddenly came out of the crowd. Seeing the Cloud dance, he cried excitedly, "Boss!" In an instant, everyone was stunned. In front of these young people, they made way for the man who called the boss to come in. The man's eyes were red and excited. He rushed to Yunwu and yelled, "Boss, you've finally come back to see us. Cloud Dance Leng Leng, to tell you the truth, most people don't remember their names, but they can call out the boss, which means they are old members before. They smile and nod, yes, long time no see. All the people who yelled were confused. Not only those around and Cloud Dance a few hands-on people, even Cloud Dance around a few people are all stunned. Boss? Meng Bai turned his head and looked at Yunwu, and asked, is this the mercenary regiment you are talking about? Cloud Dance mouth a hook, helpless smile said, originally wanted to say with you, the result looked at them for a long time did not compete, followed together to move the hand. Meng Bai and Chi Yi's look at each other, and they can't help but smoke. They just played so fiercely. In Cloud Dance's opinion, it's just a duel. Boss, how did you come back? Just now the person who called the Cloud Dance boss rushed to the front directly. He looked at the Cloud Dance excitedly and said that his eyes were full of respect. I didn't expect that after so long separation, the strength of the boss has been so strong. He deserves to be the boss. How can we catch up with him? Long Qingxie frowned and held Yunwu in her arms without any trace, which made her far away from the visitors. The man didn't pay attention. He seemed to feel that the distance had suddenly become a little far away. So he went forward and said, Boss, we all miss you so much. Is there anything wrong with your coming this time? Or is there something we need? Hey, boss, what's your realm now? Why can't I feel it at all? Boss, you don't know. The strength of the brothers is much stronger now. When you see it, you will know. The man's mouth was like a barrage of bullets, and he kept talking. Yunwu was also excited. Although he was held by the dragon, he also moved forward when he talked about the excitement. When they got together, you and I began to say the words after parting. When they met these bright mercenaries, Yunwu just felt that he was going to be inspired. The man kept asking, Cloud Dance kept answering. The frown of Long Qingxie is more and more severe, and his body exudes a cold breath, as if he can beat the opposite person to fly at any time. Meng Bai and Chi Yi's are familiar with Long Qingxie's thoughts. When they see him like this, they immediately go around to the other side and stand quietly, for fear that if they are not careful, Long Qingxie will be angry with them. At the same time, he looked at the person who was chatting with Yunwu sympathetically. He was not aware of all this and prayed for him silently in his heart. So much has been said. Now is it time for us to meet your leaders? When the mercenary excitedly said that the 38th mercenary in the mercenary regiment had also risen to the realm of Wuzuan, the cold voice of Long Qingxie interrupted him impolitely. The mercenary was so excited that he turned his head and looked at the dragon. He was looking at himself with a cold face and wondered, when did you offend him? Boss, I'll take you to the regiment. When you get there, you'll know that what I just said is not exaggerated at all. The mercenary turned his head again and said to Yunwu. Cloud Dance nods with a smile, feels the dragon's evil feeling around, and finally doesn't move on. Please lead the way. I really need your help when I come back this time. Hey, boss, what are you talking about? You are our boss. If you have anything to say, just say hello. How can you say it's help? The mercenary said as he led the way. Yunwu smiles and says nothing more. Behind him, Chi Yi's and Meng Bai keep up with each other. After a long time, today's top of the desert is like a luxury town, even more prosperous than the Firestone town. Not only that, it's the top of the desert, but when people enter it, they see a lot of trees. Where is the desert here? It's an oasis. Meng Bai looked around in surprise. Tut tut, exclaimed. On hearing this, the mercenary said happily, that's nature. Boss, you don't know. Just after you left, this place was the world of our mercenary regiment. Because of the climate, there were many inconveniences, so the new leader thought of a way to plant a lot of trees here. This is originally a small oasis in the desert. After such a renovation, the whole city is no different from other places. As long as you don't go out, you can't see that this is a desert. Cloud Dance nodded, in the heart is very praised this new leader actually has this kind of ability. There is no shortage of territory in the desert. As soon as the territory is expanded, it will be as big as you want. Moreover, the top of the desert is a famous place. It's not surprising that it will become prosperous after being well governed. They walked towards the inside with admiration, and finally reached the highest building. Yunwu and others were more shocked when they looked at the building in front of them, which was a bit higher than the surrounding buildings, and the building materials were not the same. In other places, most of them are made of loess and sand, which seems boring. But this one is made of neat bluestone. How can we not be surprised? Boss, let's go in. The mercenary said with a smile. Seeing the shock in the eyes of Yunwu and others, he was very proud. Several people entered the hall together, only to see the lights in the big hall bright, but everywhere with wild. On one side of the wall are specimens made of various desert corpses of warcraft. Wooden furniture is randomly placed in the hall. A seat on the top is covered with a complete piece of animal skin. Chief! Chief! The boss is back. As soon as the mercenary came in, he rushed in excitedly and yelled loudly. His voice echoed in the hall. Several people were watching him in cold sweat behind him. Is this mercenary too big? If it's in other places, such as Huisher town, who dares to shout so loudly in the Lord's mansion? What boss? I'm sleeping. What are you arguing about? A rough voice came out, accompanied by a sound of footwork. Then a tall, thin man came out. Meng Bai was directly confused. He thought that the boss of the mercenary regiment must be a big man, and how could he come out with such a rough voice like a weak scholar? The mercenary directly ignored the displeasure in the leader's words, and rushed to the man in front of him excitedly, saying, Boss, look, it's Boss Yun who's back. The person who was made the leader was very excited. He quickly rubbed his eyes. When he looked at it, he saw Yun with several people standing there quietly. Cloud Dance a gorgeous face is still and before General no redundant expression, just in see his time with a smile nodded. Boss! The tall and thin head let out an excited howl, and then rushed straight up, opening his arms like a Cloud Dance. Dragon Qing evil figure move, directly block in front of his body, a palm will he beat fly out. Chief! The mercenary gave a cry. Just listen to, bang, thin tall heavy fell on the ground. Chi-ese two people silently looking at the dragon to pour evil one eye, the heart way, sure as expected this guy a hand not what good matter. Long Qingxie snorted coldly. He had endured the mercenary for a long time before, but now there is another one. He just wants to report it. How can it be? This is his man. How can he let others hold him? The leader who landed on the ground stood up straight from the ground, not angry. He darted to Yunwu and looked at Long Qingxie and asked, Are you the boss's friend? Good skill, but sneak attack is not a good habit. Why don't you come and fight with me? Long Qingxie frowned and looked at him. Suddenly, he felt that he had met a psycho. He had already beaten him. He even wanted to fight with himself. Cloud Dance, poof chi, a laugh out, well, are their own people, after the competition is more opportunities, not in a hurry. Who is his own man? Dragon Qing evil coldly said stretch out a hand to embrace Cloud Dance directly in the bosom. As soon as he saw this, he reached out and touched his nose. He finally knew why he had been beaten up. Boss, why are you back? Is there something wrong? Or passing by? Are these all your friends? The tall and thin head of the mercenary regiment has been working for some days. As soon as he saw the appearance of Cloud Dance, he knew that he was definitely not here to play. Now he asked directly. After all, it's the leader who knows the priority of things. There is something to trouble you about. Cloud Dance nodded and said. Boss, what are you talking about? You are our boss. Why do you say trouble is not trouble? The tall and thin one said the same thing as the mercenary, and frowned unhappily. Boss, how did you split up with us? Cloud Dance Aleng, suddenly feel oneself seem to really some polite. These people are all the people they used to accept. They have long recognized themselves as the boss, but they talk to them politely again and again. In the eyes of these mercenaries, they just feel that they are alienating them, right? Yunwu was silent for a long time, and finally said, "In this case, I will say it directly. It's just that it's not a small matter. If it's big, it's just about the lives of all the brothers and sisters in the regiment." The tall and skinny one and the mercenary were stunned. No wonder the boss wanted to come to them by himself and brought some people here. It seems that this time is really a big deal. At the moment, both of them immediately put away their previous appearance and listened to the Cloud Dance carefully, talking about what they needed to do. You've all heard about the Beast Gate, and you know how powerful it is. Before, in order to break the defense of the Beast Gate and destroy them, I collected things everywhere to defeat them. But now, there is something wrong with those things, and they can no longer be collected. So there must be another way, that is to unite the strength of all people to fight against the Beast Gate. Cloud Dance does not hide their own purpose, simply set out. Tall and Thin nodded and said, "So you came to us, boss?" "That's right." Cloud Dance nodded, "Not only to find you, we have gone to many places, from volcanoes to the sea, from deserts to forests, but also many forces have joined us. Those who know or don't know about the forces of the 10,000 beasts, those who have heard about the forces of the 10,000 beasts, and even those who have been framed by the 10,000 beasts, have joined us. You don't have to say much, boss." The tall and thin one interrupted Yunwu directly and said, "I'm still saying that. We are the boss of your people. How to do it? You can give us an order. Brothers are ready at any time." Yunwu was deeply moved. He knew that he didn't need to say too much in front of these brothers. Just one look and one sentence was enough. "That said, but I hope you can tell the brothers that the strength of the Beast Gate is not comparable to that of other forces, and this battle is not a small fight. Let everyone carefully consider it." Tall and Thin nodded and said, "Don't worry, boss. I'll tell you what you said." Until then, Yunwu was relieved. In the afternoon of that day, Tall and Thin people directly released the words of Cloud Dance. Sure enough, all the mercenaries were as indignant as they were. They heard that the eldest came back, and they put on their own things to visit Yunwu. All afternoon, Yunwu sat in the Tall and Thin house and exchanged greetings with the brothers who came to visit. Fortunately, Long Qingxia left to get through the teleportation array. Otherwise, seeing this scene, he would directly incarnate as an iceberg. The next morning, the situation continued for another morning until noon, when all the members of the mercenary regiment were finally seen. In the afternoon, Long Qingxia was picked up by the crowd with a tired face. By the way, he brought back a message: the transmission array from the top of the desert to the boundary of Mudu has been opened. What are you going to do next? Meng Bai sat on the stool, looking at the Cloud Dance on one side and asked. Yunwu turned over the map of the top of the desert in his hand, heard the question, looked up at them and said, "According to the original plan, Long Qingxia is in charge of the teleportation array. Let's go back to the border of Mudu for a while, and wait for the teleportation array to be completed before we proceed to the next step." Long Qingxia looks at the Cloud Dance around him. Suddenly he leans over his head and kisses Cloud Dance's face with a chirp. He says, "Little guy, be careful on the way." Cloud Dance nodded, a faint smile, and three people go together to send a ray. A white light flashed, and the three people in the transmission array instantly returned to the vicinity of the boundary of Mudu. The originally barren boundary of Mudu has gradually gained some vitality, and it is no longer a dead silence before. Cloud Dance looks at the boundary of the wood capital in front of him and thinks deeply, but Meng Bai points to the capital in front of him and shouts, "My God! In just 1 month, the world of Mudu has become like this. More and more people come and go in and out, and the guards standing at the door are doing a good job. Let's go." Cloud Dance says, then three people walk toward the entrance of Woodall boundary. As soon as I got to the door, I was stopped by the guard. Who are you? The guard looked at several people who were very alert. Now the boundary of Mudu belongs to an extraordinary period, so outsiders can't wait to enter. Well done. Meng Bai was very happy. With a smile, he patted the guard on the shoulder, turned around and pointed to Yunwu and said, "This man is Yunwu. You should know that we went to other places to look for support during this period, and we just came back today." Maybe it was the guard who just arrived here, so he was very confused about them. He looked around and finally said, "You wait a little while, and I'll tell Lord Mu Xiuming when I go back." Cloud Dance and others did not say anything, nodded and stood there quietly waiting. After a while, the figure of Mu Xiuming appeared not far away in the world of Mudu. He was very happy. He ran over and scratched his head. He seemed a little embarrassed, because I called the aborigines of Mudu, and they were afraid of danger, so they said it like this. "I didn't expect that you would have come back in just 1 month. It's really great. Our unexpected success, so you don't have to worry too much. We will have enough people to go to the human world soon." Yunwu said that he took the lead in walking towards the boundary of Mudu. Sure enough, after not coming back for a month, the scenery of the border of Mudu changed a lot. Countless people came and went in the ruins of the wooden capital, and they simply built their own temporary stronghold. Although it is still a bit messy, it has gradually become orderly, and everything is developing in a good direction. Let's go to our stronghold. Wu Xiuming said, with Cloud Dance 3 people toward the back to continue to walk. Qi Yi's was very surprised at Mu Xiuming's appeal ability. Most of these people should have been residents of the border of Mudu, and many houses that have not been completely destroyed have taken on a new look after their construction. I can't help feeling happy, watching everyone come and go, and even forming a small market among the ruins. Everyone exchanged for what they needed, and instantly became happy. Soon, a few people came to the door of a house built with wood, and Mu Xiuming said, "This is our temporary stronghold. It's a bit crude, and you don't mind too much." Then he led 3 people in. As soon as I entered the room, countless people came and went, working in the middle of the room. We discussed and planned together. When we saw Mu Xiuming coming, they all stood up and bowed to Mu Xiuming, and then continued to be busy. "Little 5. You're back." Shangguan's voice stood out among the many voices, as if it had not been seen for many years. "Xiao Wu, why are you so slow? We all come back very fast, so we're short of you, eh? Where's the guy of Dragon Qing Xie? Why didn't you come back together?" Cloud Dance helplessly looking at Shangguan, just ready to speak. Nangong and Situ also surrounded. "How's it going? Do you agree?" Situ Lan asked. Cloud Dance nodded. "The power on the top of the volcano is no problem, but the town has just expanded, and it will take some time to stabilize. The mercenary regiment at the top of the desert is on standby. It's worthy of Xiao Wu. It's just a shot." Shangguan, "Tut tut," exclaimed. "Mama, Mama, the Phoenix family is on call at any time." Small Stink followed closely together. Many days no see, directly put down the body of Cloud Dance. Then, Red Fire Dragon and Nangong made their situation clear. At last, Situ Lan shook his head with a bitter smile. "I have some problems. I'm afraid they won't come to support." As soon as the words came out, everyone was silent for a moment. "Come on, let's sit down first. People here are discussing some of the problems we are facing now, and then solve them one by one. Situ, don't be dejected. Even without the support of that island, there are us. Soon, you will be able to see the boundary of Woody Capital with a good team." Mu Xiuming's words regulated the atmosphere of the audience, and everyone sat down one after another. Nangong inadvertently came to Qi Yi's side and said in a low voice, "It's hard." Qi Nida Zheng, always cold face, flashed a touch of unnatural look. The same low voice said, "You too." Then he sat down next to the Cloud Dance. Nangong pauses, pulls back his chair and sits beside Qi Yi's. The interaction between them was so small that no one noticed. Seeing that all the people around are doing their own things in an orderly way, Yunwoo nodded with satisfaction. The forces in various places are ready. As long as they give an order, they will go to the designated places through the teleportation array. At present, our power has begun to take shape. As for other places, we don't have to worry for the time being. Situlan shrugged, still disappointed, but knew that he really had no reason to pull that paradise into the war, so he was just silent. Situ. Cloud Dance suddenly made a sound. Situlan was stunned, but he looked up and found that everyone was looking at him. There was no blame in his eyes. He couldn't help but move his heart. It's up to them to join us. No one wants to die, let alone the existence of the Beast Gate. Cloud Dance Light said, they join or not is not important, the important thing is what we want to do next. Situlan nodded seriously and said, I know. Then we'll wait for the dragon's evil spirit to get through all the teleportation arrays outside, so that everyone can arrive at the human world at the same time. Mu Xiuming clenched his fist and said that his eyes were quite excited. The long-awaited battle was finally coming. Cloud Dance said, this period of time, there is nothing urgent, but we still need to keep vigilant, we may immediately inform you to go to the human world. Mu Xiuming nodded seriously, his eyes full of firmness. Since the destruction of my home, then I will not let you go, must revenge for the dead. The next time in the world of Mudu is simple and full. A large number of troops have begun to camp and train hard. And some idle people, and some people who later learned about it, are going to report and join the team one after another. Slowly, the whole world of Mudu has regained a lot of vitality. Afternoon. Cloud Dance stands on the training ground temporarily built in the square, watching the fighting and competition between the warriors in the boundary of Mengbai and Mudu, the figure of Cloud Dance stretching in the slanting sunset, the warriors in front of them are laughing and cheering one by one. How many people's blood in exchange for a short peace, how can it disappear so easily? Cloud Dance looked at a group of people in front of him, disappointed. If you want to keep everyone's happiness, you must win the Beast Gate. Because of the aborigines in the border of Mudu, the initial construction of the capital was very rapid. In less than half a month, the core part of the whole capital was almost completed, and it was full of countless laughter. Innumerable houses have been built, and the strongholds are guarded, and the training is carried out in an orderly way. Yunwoo was relieved by the steady popularity of the people, so letters were sent out that night with a sentence on them. We sincerely invite your elite to come to the border of Mudu to discuss specific matters. The signature is Yunwoo. Within 3 days, countless teams came to the boundary of Mudu through the teleportation array. They were placed in each temporary room. Yunwoo gathered everyone in one room and began to understand the specific situation of various forces in detail. When everyone has finished the elaboration, Yunwoo has understood almost everything. What's not enough, they all give it to the person in charge of each team to summarize, and then give it to Mu Xiuming. After explaining everything you can think of, Yunwoo gathered everyone together in one night. Everyone, now we are ready in all forces, but the human world doesn't know what's going on, so I think we need to gather a team in the human world. So I decided to go back to the human world first. Yunwoo said, looking at the people in front of him, he laughed, I'm very relieved to have you here. I don't have to worry that the boundary of Mudu will fall. The teleportation array can't transmit so many people at the moment, so we wait for Long Qingxie to come back and bring him back. Let him think of a way to let us go to the human world together. I'll wait for you in the human world. What? Xiao Wu, do you want to go by yourself? Shengguan called out directly, how can that work? It's dangerous for you to go to the human world alone. What's more, you don't know anything now. In case you meet the people of the Beast Gate. If you meet the people of the Beast Gate, then have a good fight. Cloud Dance Light said, what's more, I now have Duman, even if really in danger, the big deal is to escape. People thought to themselves, what a monster. Seeing that Yunwoo has made up his mind to go to the human world, it's hard for everyone to say more. After a few words of explanation, Yunwu went to the human world through the teleportation array. But the human world is worse than Yunwu imagined. The cloud dance suddenly appeared at the entrance of the human world, which immediately attracted everyone's attention. In front of them stood countless people in black, who came and went to inspect. When they saw the cloud dance, they were already walking towards the cloud dance. A few people still looked down at the portrait in their hands. A man in black said something to the people around him. Then the man in black speeded up and ran towards the direction of cloud dancing. Yunwu's heart is not good. In a hurry, he immediately enters the third domain of Chaos Hall. The figure was instantly concealed. Looking at the place where the clouds disappeared out of thin air in front of us, several people in black were stunned for a long time, but they didn't respond. Then several people discussed for a long time, and then they went back to their original place and continued to stand guard. At this time, the invisible cloud dance quickly entered the human world. As soon as he entered the human world, Cloud Dance could not help frowning. In the human world, the shadow of the Beast Gate can be seen everywhere. Everyone is very heavy. People who look at the Beast Gate have fear in their eyes. When you enter Qiao's city, you find that the whole city is full of people from the Beast Gate, and countless patrolling people in black walk around the city. What's more terrible is that the whole city is wanted by all of them. This is too easy to expose. When we are outnumbered, if we are exposed, the situation will be very dangerous, although there are few rivals in the realm of cloud dancing now. Yunwu walks to a hiding place in the city, finally shows her figure and looks around. She is looking for a place where she can understand the situation of the whole three kingdoms. Finally, not far away, I found a tavern, which is not big, so there are not many people. So Yunwu looked around, no one noticed him, quietly went to a tailor's shop, bought a suit of men's clothes, changed it, and then went to the pub openly. In the tavern, he found a place to sit down, deliberately lowered his voice, and began to greet the second child, a pot of good wine. Xiao Er was very enthusiastic and left quickly. Cloud Dance looks down from the second floor of the tavern, and the whole human world seems to be in deep water now. If you come a step later, I'm afraid this place will be in ruins just like the boundary of Mudu. Thinking about this, the second child has come to Yunwu with a pot of wine. Your wine, sir. Little Two put down the wine, ready to turn around and go. Cloud Dance suddenly pulls him and drags him in front of him, don't leave. I'll ask you, which force is the man in black in this city? Small Tu Ling suddenly looked like a fool up and down of the Cloud Dance. It took a long time to say, you're not from us, are you? I don't even know that. Cloud Dance light smile, quickly lowered his head, coughed twice, will continue to lower his voice. Yes, I travel everywhere, today came here, but see here is a familiar scene. She pretended to look around, and then she pulled Xiao Er over and whispered, why are there such people in black in all cities? What do they do? You are really joking, sir. Xiao Er smiles. He doesn't keep talking. He just turns around and is ready to go. But Yunwu didn't let him go, still took him, but took out a piece of silver from his arms and put it into the small second hand. Small Tu moment in front of a bright, can't help laughing up, you don't know, this black dress person, is 10,000 beast door person. Cloud Dance seems to be very surprised to open his mouth. Said, the people of the Beast Gate have infiltrated here, so I want to ask you, what's the situation in our country now? The second child looked around, but no one was looking for him, so he sat down, picked up the pot, poured a cup for each of them, shook his head and said seriously, it's not optimistic. How do you say that? Yunwu was puzzled. The second child sighed, shook his head and said, at present, in the three kingdoms, all places are controlled by the people of the Beast Gate. Now the people are in dire straits. Said, Small Tu suddenly carefully looked at Cloud Dance's face, touched chin, very strange way, why do you look so familiar? Cloud Dance heart tight, thought is exposed. Is preparing to start fighting, into the combat state, but in front of the small two suddenly smiled, said, "Maybe I read it wrong, how can it be?" Turning his head, he pointed to the wanted notice on the wall and said, "Those people on the wall are the people who are now in charge of the three kingdoms." Then he looked around, lowered his head, attached himself to Cloud Dance's ear, and said in a low voice, "But you say, in this world, I see, this force is not good at all. If they are allowed to take charge of this place, I'm afraid it won't be long before this place will perish." Xiao Er couldn't help laughing and poured wine for Yunwu, "So, even if you are really the wanted object of these people, I won't sell you to them." Then he turned and walked towards the door. "Hey, what would you like, my guest?" Yunwu quietly sat on the seat and drank a glass of wine, but suddenly felt that the taste of the wine was very strange. I don't know what it felt like, but it did seem to be mixed with something else. In the heart a burst of nervous, but the brain has already begun to dizzy. Cloud Dance suddenly realized bad, quickly put down the glass, stand up. However, the body has been shaking uncontrollably. It's broken. Yunwu thinks that he is in a hurry to adjust his breath, but he sees that the little two comes to him with a proud smile. Now, Yunwu knows that he can't hide. I was still wondering what was wrong, so I stood up and wanted to go out. But suddenly here, outside already a burst of noise, Cloud Dance startled, quickly looked down, found a large group of people below, has come this way. Suddenly in the heart a tight, turn head to see to small too, but at present but a trance, let her can't help but bite his lips hard, this just finally sober some. So, quietly doing battle preparation, toward the pub outside. But just walked to the door, but was stopped by the small two. "Sir, you haven't paid for the wine. Do you want to leave now?" Xiaoer's eyes are full of sarcastic smile, which makes Yunwu very uncomfortable, and raises a palm to attack Xiaoer's chest. Small too but also not to be outdone, quickly sighed to avoid, but the clouds fast from small two to get out of the intersection of gallop. But when I got to the door, I just saw a group of people in black in front of me, pointing to myself and surrounded by myself. Before long, there were more and more people in black in front of them. Cloud Dance in the heart a sink, in the heart think this in any case also can't quietly carry on the following thing. As a result, the fighting spirit quickly spilled over the body, wrapped the whole body, and sacrificed the ancient martial arts sword. Suddenly, a strong atmosphere, led the whole team of people in black for a meal, suddenly toward the cloud. Too big for her skin. Cloud Dance has a sneer at the corner of his mouth. Cloud Dance holds the big sword in his hand and quietly waits for the man in black in front of him to rush towards him. Wave a knife toward the front of a man in black, cut down, instant, the whole street suddenly all over the scream, everyone scattered away. Yunwu knows. It seems that she can't escape this time. The whole street is just Yunwu and the man in black. They rush towards the man in black, ready to make a quick decision. But unexpectedly, the people in black seem to have received the notice. Before long, the streets were full of people in black, making Cloud Dance unable to move. Now, we can only solve these people. Cloud Dance thought, now are a group of not surprising minions, if it is easy to get it done. Come out, little nine. Cloud Dance shouts away, in an instant, small nine already stand nearby, without saying a word, toward the person in black in front of to rush past. All of a sudden, there was a burst of murderous spirit from the people in black, because they finally determined that this person was Yunwu. Small nine in front of the fight, Cloud Dance has killed the man in black in front of him. In a short period of time, the siege was highlighted almost at the same time. However, Yunwu felt a huge pressure and murderous atmosphere around her, and suddenly she was nervous and looked at her side. Sure enough, not far away from me, there were 5 people. They didn't seem to have seen each other, but the realms seemed to be just a little lower than themselves. It seemed that 5 people were very difficult to deal with together. Yunwu can't help frowning. In this case, he can't leave soon. As the saying goes, it's a long night and a long dream. If he works a little longer, I'm afraid there will be more trouble. The thunder element suddenly appeared on the big sword of Guwu, and the little stink was summoned out again. It seems that there is a very good chance of winning 3-5. So he attacked the people in front of him. The 5 people were all black and could hardly see their faces, which made Yunwu feel very uncomfortable. She quickly met a man, and Guwu cut at the man's face. A sharp blade quickly across, but the man in front of him did not expect to escape. Some people are not at a high level, but they are much better at close combat. So think, Cloud Dance vomited breath, tell oneself must be more flexible, just go. The man who avoided the blade suddenly flew to the cloud like an arrow. Cloud Dance in the heart a tight, but at present oneself drink of the medicine effect in the wine has not been completely untied, now the situation is more critical. Small 9 and small stink alone against 2 people, and in front of 3 people in and Cloud Dance around. The Cloud Dance is cold and sweaty. I feel a little bit hard. Although the medicine in the body has been relieved for most of the time, the attack power of the Cloud Dance is greatly reduced by the dizziness. She bit her lips and bit hard to bleed, which made her wake up a lot, forced her not to faint, and suddenly turned to look at the man behind her. The man behind him seems to have expected Yunwu to turn around and dodge leisurely. However, the man standing behind Yunwu suddenly cuts at Yunwu's back. Yunwu only felt the cool wind whirring behind his neck. With a tight heart, he quickly turned sideways, only to see that the third person behind him had raised his sword and stabbed at his neck. The cooperation was so tacit that Yunwu was very surprised, but she didn't dare to relax her vigilance. She only needed a time to adjust her breath, but those people seemed to know that she had been poisoned and didn't give her a chance to adjust her breath. It was not until she was out of breath and sweating that Yunwu became cold. It seems that I've been in your trap for a long time, isn't it? The man in black doesn't care about Xiao Jiu at all, and he still cooperates with the tacit attack to Yunwu. Yunwu gradually felt tired. Carefully look around, looking for the direction to leave. But in all directions, countless people in black come and go, there is no way to leave. Beat back a man in front of him. Yunwu turns around and looks behind him. The little boy looks at Yunwu with a bad smile and stands at the door of the tavern. With a sneer, Yunwu turns around and cuts down a man and runs towards the door of the tavern. Until the second child saw Yunwu running towards him, he suddenly changed his face and looked at the man in black behind him for a long time. The man in black also chased the direction of Yunwu, but Yunwu was willing after all. Although there were a large number of these people, they were still worse. See Cloud Dance lift big knife, toward the direction of small 2 rushed past, the sharp blade, let small 2 forehead sweat, toward behind. But no matter how fast he retreated, he didn't run as fast as Yunwu, so he chopped down Xiaoer's stomach. The second child was scared. He took out his hand and patted it in the direction of Yunwu. With the other hand, he picked up a bench from behind and smashed it hard at Yunwu. I didn't expect a shopkeeper to have a black fighting spirit. Cloud Dance coldly said, it seems that you are already a man of the Beast Gate. With that, Yunwu cuts the bench to pieces with a flick of a knife. With the sound of the wind, he passes by the little 2. Only to hear a scream, has not had time to resist the small 2, has fallen on the ground, half of the palm flew out, the belly of the blood hole, shed a lot of blood on the ground. Cloud Dance head also didn't return, run toward the direction of the second floor. There is no one else in the tavern. The windows on the second floor are very big. Yunwu looks down and there are countless people in black. The inspection is very strict, which makes Yunwu frown. It's not because of how strong these people are, but because they don't know when they will be able to see their own team. Looking at the direction of the stairs, those people didn't come up. Maybe they were afraid of Yunwu. Yunwu poked out his head and looked out at the building next to the pub. Not far from there is the brothel. Looking down at the men's clothes on her body, she turned over and flew up to the top of the brothel. Several bricks and tiles were broken by her, which led to a lot of screams. Countless people looked up. She quickly opened the brick. Sure enough, under the brick is the brothel. She can see a fat man holding a brothel woman, a moment of nausea, but Yunwoo still turned down. It landed light in the room. The two people who are making out with each other are shocked to see the sudden cloud dance. The man points to the cloud dance and does not say anything for a long time, while the woman is tearful and ready to scream. He quickly knocked the man unconscious, turned around, grabbed the woman and covered her mouth. "Shoo, keep quiet. I'll hide here for a while. If I come in, people will say I'm out. Otherwise, you won't be able to walk out of this room tonight." The woman was already full of tears, her eyes were red and trembling with fear, and she nodded in a hurry. Cloud dance. This just slowly released the hand that covers a woman's mouth. Let the woman help. The fat man moved to the bed, covered with a quilt, and then let the woman also sit on the bed, and he is invisible standing in the corner. The woman, pale and trembling, sat on the bed. When Yunwoo heard the sound from outside, he sat down on the ground and began to use his power to regulate his breath. The overpowering drug in his body was gradually failing. Sure enough, after a while, a large number of people in black rushed into the brothel, looking for room by room. Before long, there was a bang. The door of the next room was kicked open. Then, the clear woman's cry makes Yunwoo stop work quickly and stand up. Although she is invisible, it's hard to ensure that someone can feel her. So, be prepared. All of a sudden, the door of the room was kicked open, and the woman sitting on the bed suddenly screamed without warning, so scared that she almost came out. "What are you yelling at?" A man called, looked up, looked at the roof, pointed, and said to the man behind him, "Yes, this is the room." Then he looked up at the woman and said coldly, "Where's the man who just came in?" The woman's whole body trembled. She looked at the corner of the wall in panic. Then she said with trembling and choking, "After I just came in and knocked out this man, I threatened me again, and then." The woman swallowed and looked up at the door. Cloud danced in the corner of the door, her face gradually cooled down. She clenched her fist and was ready to start. Then she ran out and told me not to tell you that I had seen her. The woman's voice trembled as if she was about to faint. The man in black looked around indifferently and looked at the woman quietly for a long time. Then he turned around and left the room. The door slammed shut. The woman almost collapsed in fright, sitting on the bed in a cold sweat, shivering. Yunwoo finally showed her figure and walked to the woman. "Thank you very much." Seeing the cloud dancing out, the woman suddenly cried out in horror, trembling and incoherent, and said, "I beg you not to kill me, I didn't do anything. I'm sorry, I beg you, let's go." Yunwoo frowned, but did not leave. Instead, she sat down beside the woman, looked down for a moment and said, "How long have these people in black been here?" Woman Leng, red eyes looking at the cloud. After a long time, Yunwoo asked her questions. She was scared to cry again. I don't know. I just know that gradually more and more people came from them later." Cloud Dance pondered for a moment, then asked, "Do you know what kind of power they are?" The woman shook her head in horror. I only know that they are a special terrorist organization. If they say something bad, they may be killed." The woman's voice is still declining. Suddenly, a small thing flies in from the window. Before Yunwoo has time to see clearly, the woman in front of her has opened her eyes and leans against the wall without breathing. Yunwoo's heart is not good. When those people come back, they hear a burst of laughter on the roof. An unspeakable pressure from the top down makes Yunwoo feel heavy and rush out of the door without saying a word. "I can't delay here. I need to find my Cloud Army and Killer Corps as soon as possible." Yunwoo said this in his heart, but he saw that in the whole brothel, there were black clothes all over the beast gate, all of them were blocked, and they couldn't escape. Once again, the more time is wasted, the more troublesome things will be. If you stay a little longer, I'm afraid the more difficult things will come. With that in mind, Yunwoo quickly disappeared, shuttled through the crowd and walked towards the door. But the door was guarded by the man in black and couldn't leave at all. Yunwoo gritted his teeth and raised his hand to chop at the neck of the man in black. The man in black in the brothel suddenly saw the man at the door fall to the ground, his face changed, and then he turned around and said something to the man behind him. There was no way to stay. Yunwoo quickly left the brothel and walked out of the building. As soon as she stepped into the street, she heard someone shouting behind her, the guard at the door was knocked out. She must have escaped. Come on, countless people in the brothel have rushed to the street. The whole city was in a state of panic and impetuosity. The cloud dance rushed out for a long time. Then it slowly stopped and looked at the endless woods on the left of the city and the center of the town on the right. But at present, it seems that the city center itself can't go at all, because all the people are preparing to arrest themselves. If they find out, it will be a big deal to solve them. And the Cloud Army is hidden in the forest, in the secret stronghold, they agreed. So I thought for a long time and ran towards the woods. In the woods, the boundless lush trees have become a good hiding place for clouds. Sure enough, what they have been found has spread all over the city. Now, even in the forest, there are countless people in black who are looking for it aimlessly. Yunwoo hides behind a tree and looks at a group of people in black searching in the grass under the tree. He frowns. The direction here should be to the secret base of Yunjiajin. Therefore, there must be a sign left by Yunjiajin nearby. Yunwoo saw that a group of people in front of him had gone far away, so he began to turn around and check the trees around him. I carefully checked the tree trunk, because the route to Yunjiajin base is very hidden. And Yunjiajun has never been found, and only his own people can find the secret. Carefully looking for a long time, finally, in a tree, found the symbol that belongs to the Cloud Army. Yunwoo breathed in his heart. The symbol just indicated the direction of Yunjiajin, so Yunwoo continued to move forward towards the direction of the symbol. Not long ago, a new symbol appeared on the tree in front of me. The corner of her mouth is smiling, but she can't wait to see Yunjiajun. It shows that there is a new power in her camp. Seeing that there was no sign of the beast gate around, Yunwoo showed his body shape. He put down his heart and continued to walk towards the direction of the symbol. Suddenly, a voice behind him called out, "Who is it?" Cloud Dance heart tight, quickly turned to look behind, a 10,000 beast door team, about 10 people, in their own behind, vigilant looking at themselves. Cloud Dance is in trouble. It seems that it can't escape anymore. So he takes out Gu Wu's sword and cuts at the team without saying a word. The man in black was very excited, and 10 people ran towards the direction of Cloud Dance almost at the same time. Yunwoo smiles in his heart. It's the best way to save me a lot of trouble, but he's worried. Looking at the huge forest nearby, who knows how many teams are hidden here. At that time, the commotion here will lead to teams from other places. Don't you make trouble for yourself? It looks like a quick decision. Cloud Dance thinks like this, toward in front of the first to rush up the black dress person to chop down. Without a trace of hesitation, the man in black in front of him had no power to stop him. He was cut down and fell to the ground convulsing. Yunwoo's backhand cuts down on a man in black beside him, but the man in black doesn't escape. He raises his hand to grasp Yunwoo's blade, and a ray element quickly wraps the ancient wood Adao. As soon as the man's hand touched the blade, he suddenly let out a scream and flew out. It's beyond my capacity to let you people who have no fighting power catch me. Cloud Dance sneers and continues to chop at the person in front of him. 10 people were finished in minutes, but Yunwoo knew that the fighting here must have attracted countless small teams around, so she had to leave immediately. Looking down at the last one left behind, he bent down, grabbed the man's collar and said indifferently, "How many people, teams, and strength are there in the forest?" The man coughed twice, looked at the clouds, sneered, and killed himself by biting his tongue. Cloud Dance is very angry, throw this person's body on the ground, turn around and continue to look for the sign of meeting with the Cloud family army. But not long after that, I heard someone's voice not far away from me, gradually approaching. Cloud Dance in the heart of a sink, but see in front of the tree, there is a sign, heart surprise, toward the front quietly. Before long, Yunwoo met a team of 10,000 beasts. In the heart secretly scolds, continues to be invisible, rushes toward the front. "Strange, I can hear the sound of fighting here," said a man in black. "Did you hear me wrong? It's impossible. Look over there," said another man in black. A few people nodded, and then together toward another direction to chase. After several people left, Yunwoo returned. The spirits of these people are really lingering. Cloud Dance frowned and murmured. This time, she became more careful, observing the surrounding situation all the time, and looking for the mark carefully. "I don't know if it's the reason why those beast men really left." Yunwoo didn't continue to bump into them all the way, but still didn't relax her vigilance. With the passage of time, more and more marks were found. After 7 turns and 8 turns, Yunwoo finally arrived at a very remote place. At this time in front of Cloud Dance is a mountain tunnel that only one person can pass through, which is the gap between the two mountains. But if you look carefully, you can also find some traces of artificial mining. It is obvious that this tunnel is not natural. Cloud Dance looked carefully and found a special symbol in a very hidden place. "It seems to be here." Cloud Dance mouthed a hook, looked behind to make sure that no one else exists, so he turned into the tunnel. "It's dark in the tunnel. I can't see anything clearly. I can only feel the surrounding environment by listening." Yunwoo walked straight ahead. After walking for a long time, she felt that the road under her feet was getting narrower and narrower. And it is not directly narrowed, but the middle part is slowly suspended, a path becomes only steep on both sides for landing, and there is water sound at the foot. With the position of the foot hanging bigger and bigger, the sound of the water became clearer and clearer. Later, Yunwoo almost thought that he was stepping on a stone to cross the stream. "It's just a tunnel. It's been walking for an hour." Fortunately, Yunwoo has good physical strength, so it has persisted. But then, just when Yunwoo thought he had to walk for a long time, the tunnel in front suddenly saw a ray of light. Cloud Dance hearted joy, speed up the speed. The tunnel entrance finally appeared in front of us. Yunwoo walked out without hesitation, and his sight suddenly brightened. Just now it was a narrow tunnel. I didn't expect that it would be a huge valley after it came out. I can still see the traces of human activities. It's just that when you see such a bright place, Yunwoo is not happy at all. The reason is that the valley is so quiet. What's the matter? Yunwoo frowned and stepped forward to explore. The surrounding mountains soar into the clouds, so it's easy to get in and out. The skill of cloud dancing is excellent, but it takes a lot of effort to fly up, not to mention the people of the Yun family army. The valley is quiet and abnormal. Cloud Dance calls out Jinling directly. Without saying a word, he says in a cold voice, "Jinling, go and have a look around. Is there anyone in the valley?" "Yes," Jinling answered with a sound, waved his wings and set off a gust of wind. Then he flew up with the Cloud Dance. In order to get a better view of the scene in the valley, Yunwoo deliberately let Jinling fly very low. After spending a week in the valley carefully, Yunwoo, whose face was not good-looking, suddenly became even worse. "Why not? It's all agreed." Cloud Dance murmured, tightly frowning at everything around. "It's not only agreed, if it's just an ordinary valley, Cloud Dance will only suspect that it's a mistake, but there are obvious traces of human survival, so it's impossible." "Did something happen to them?" Cloud Dance wrung eyebrow to say. At this time, just now there was no one in front of the space suddenly twisted, a black vortex appeared in front of the clouds. At the same time, a familiar can no longer be familiar with the breath out. The Cloud Dance heart is startled, quickly cold drink, Jinling. Back up, yes, Jinling didn't dare to neglect. With a wave of his wings, he stepped back and watched the sudden changes in front of him like the clouds. In the black whirlpool, several figures came out slowly. "Yunwoo, it's really hard to catch you." The first one stood coldly on the opposite side and looked at the Cloud Dance. Cloud Dance's face sank to sink on, officially, in the past, they must have moved their hands without saying a word. But this time, Shangguanli didn't mean to do it at all. Instead, he sneered and said, "Are you looking for your men? The soldiers?" Cloud Dance was surprised, "You know. What's up with the Beast Gate again?" "Ha ha ha." Shangguan laughed wildly, "What is, again? We have always been purposeful in our work, but it's not random. What do you want to do?" Cloud Dance coldly asks away. "For what?" Shangguan fiercely took back the smile, his face suddenly changed. "Of course, I want to catch you back. Since you enter the human world, no, you are the target of the Beast Gate. Not only you, but also the people around you are the targets of the Beast Gate. In the past, when you were away, you escaped from me again and again. With the strength increasing day by day, I couldn't even deal with you, so I had to find some other ways." Cloud Dance just pursed her lips and watched Shangguanli not speak. After hearing Shangguanli say so much, she began to doubt whether what he said was true. Is the Cloud Army really in the hands of the Beast Gate? Our goal is very simple. As long as you come with us, I will release the Yunjiajin, not only the Yunjiajin, but also the assassin corps you trained. How about that? Shangguan said with a sarcastic look on his face. Yunwu is surprised, even the Killer Corps knows? Do they know their agreement with the Killer Corps? Shangguanli looks at Yunwu's face changing little by little, but he is not in a hurry. He just waits for her answer, but quietly changes the position of the people behind him, and becomes a force of encirclement to prevent Yunwu from escaping. Seeing Shangguanli's action, Yunwu became more suspicious. After careful consideration, she finally decided that no matter whether the Yunjiajin and the Killer Regiment were in each other's hands or not, she could not be easily caught, otherwise she would lose the initiative. She's not the only two helpers in the human world. Don't say it is not necessarily captured by the Beast Gate, even if it is, as long as they are still there, there will be a way to save them. At the moment, Yunwu said with a sneer, "Shangguanli, I don't think you should waste your efforts. Since you like them, I'll give them to you. I won't accompany you." Having said that, the third floor of Chaos Hall opens, and the white smoke instantly envelopes Yunwu and Jinling. "No. Get her!" The superior gave a sharp order, but it was too slow. The next moment, Yunwu and Jinling's figure directly disappeared in front of the crowd. "Damn it!" the upper official scolded fiercely. "I don't know when this Cloud Dance has such an ability to disappear in full view of the public. It seems that I have to investigate more in the future King Samurai Academy. With such a large area and flourishing atmosphere of the academy, it is now one of the rare sites in the human world that has not been invaded by the Beast Gate." Cloud Dance bumps all the way, while avoiding the chase of the Beast Gate, while using their fastest speed to find the college. The transmission array of the Three Kingdoms is controlled by the Beast Gate, and all the roads are handled by people. The Mount Jinling of Yunwu is too conspicuous, so it's very hard to walk all the way. When I got to the door, I was already smelling of wind and frost. I looked like a wanderer for a long time, but my eyes were still bright. At last, Cloud Dance stood in front of the gate of the college, looked up at the place that had left for a long time, and couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. "Who?" Outside the gate, standing on both sides of the guard gate of the students to see the appearance of the cloud, cannot help but get a cold voice. Yunwu realized that he had been standing at the gate of the college for a long time. If he was seen by the people of the Beast Gate, he would have to fight again. Cough. Yunwu coughed twice, went forward and arched his hands to the two students, and said, "Ladies and gentlemen, I want to find your dean. Please inform me." The two trainees were obviously new, otherwise they would not have been sent to guard, so they did not know Yunwu. At this time, Yunwu was about to see their dean with his mouth. He frowned and said, "Can you see the dean with your mouth? Go and go, or the elders will see you and drive you away." Cloud danced for a while helpless, when, "Don't they just kick themselves out now?" Ladies and gentlemen, please let me know. I believe he will meet me. Cloud Dance coldly said, in the face of these students, she really can't treat 10,000 Beast Door as easy to start. Why don't you listen to us? One of the members frowned and said, I didn't mean you. Look at you. You are so embarrassed. Are you here to sign up? I'm sorry, our college is not ready to enroll now, and it's impossible for you to enroll. Before I finished speaking, I suddenly felt a strong pressure coming on my face. It was like falling into a space without air in a moment, and the rest of my words were directly stuck in my throat. I looked at the clouds in horror. Yunwoo stood quietly in the same place, his eyes were bright, but he was impatient. He looked at the two students in front of him with light eyes. It was clear that his eyes were light, but it was as if they were gods from ancient times. This feeling is just a short moment, and then, a lot of air into the space, the two students only feel light, instantly paralyzed on the ground, breathing fresh air. It was not until this moment that they finally realized that the man in front of them was really not an ordinary person. How's it going? Since you don't want to announce it, let me go in myself. Then Cloud Dance raised her feet and went inside. This time, neither of the two cadets dared to stop them, and they hid from each other. Clinker at this time, Cloud Dance has not entered, suddenly feel behind not far away there are a few uncomfortable breath is constantly close. Cloud Dance heart read a move, the next moment the figure will directly disappear in front of the two students. The two students looked at each other. Before they knew what was going on, they disappeared. After looking around, they couldn't find them. At the moment, they rushed into the college and closed the door directly. We'd better inform the elder as soon as possible. What if the man comes to look for trouble? The door closed, one of the two students said. Yes, let's go. The other nodded in agreement, and then they went straight inside. Shortly after the gate was closed, dozens of figures in black appeared in front of the gate. You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.